it was busy till 6. We had 4 groups of lacrosse players. Pretty awesome.
Do we have a good reserve system in place yet?
No, not great. It's like, it's funny, it's, I mean, I did preserve, they did reach out.
No,
and said
yeah,
that, but, no, and I've Cassie 4 times now, which goes to the point of Borough Solutions being like, at some point, I've thought maybe on your website. Like, totally.
What do I need to do with that, if anything? Solutions, do I need to do my laptop or anything like that?
What do you mean?
Oh, no,
I just talked to Mary Jane, and she said that they came to her house, so I don't need to do that.
They came to our house.
Yeah, to do
I
like,
think they hired him. I think they hired him personally to help with their computer stuff,
oh, okay.
like Spencer and Mary Jane.
That was not how she sent it to me, but she said, the guys you hired are great.
It's good. Everyone seems to like them. Resume?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Recording in progress.
So let's call the meeting to order. This is a unique meeting for us tonight. We have 2 meetings, actually. First, we're going to have a public hearing in our capacity as the Board of Health, which is a role that the Select Board plays under statute when there's been complaints about health issues in town. Nobody on the Select Board has ever participated in a public health board meeting before. This is new ground for us, so I hope you'll bear with us. I think what we'll do first we're going to see if there's any additions or changes to the meeting agenda, which
To the select board meeting agenda?
no, to the, I do have changes to the Select Board meeting agenda to the Board of Health meeting agenda, which is only has one topic on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll get moving with that. Before we start, why don't we go around and the board will introduce themselves. I'm Brian Shoup, I'm the chair of the board. As I said, I've been on the Select Board for 6 years, and we've never done a public health board meeting before. So this is new ground for us. And we'll go to the screen, Larissa, and introduce yourself.
Hello. Hi there. I am Larissa Ertsprung. I'm the vice chair. I'm unfortunately not in town, but I'm attending remotely. Let's see. I've lost track of how much time it's been. A year and change? Yes, there we go. A year and change. That's how long I've been on the select board. Sorry, I also have a newborn, so my brain is moving slightly slower than usual.
Dave Babbitt-Klein, I'm starting my 2nd year on the select board.
Fred Messer, member of the Select Board and also the Town Health Officer.
And just in case anybody's wondering, the Town Health Officer is a member of the Board of Health, whether they're on the Select Board or not. So and sometimes Fred has worn other hats, played other roles where he had to excuse himself from deliberations. But in this case, he's a member of the board and is open for conversation.
Cool. I'm Josh Curtis. I've been on the select board 5 years, I think. And I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you.
Select board meeting. All right, yeah, I am in the right place.
Come on in.
How's it going, guys?
York,
I'm York Haberkamp. I'm the town administrator for Waitsfield.
If you'd sign in, please.
and as Fred's getting folks to sign in, what we have in our meeting package, I believe there were 5
Thank you.
letters from tenants of the mobile home park on Trombley Road, the Vermont Trailer Park, and making several allegations related to infrastructure, wastewater facility failure, waste management, animal waste, and other health conditions. We have all those letters. We also just this afternoon received an email from Neil. What's Neil's last name?
Smith.
Neil Smith.
That's working with Downstreet, who's the owner and manager of Vermont. I was a little worried initially. I'd been away for the last couple of weeks that Downstreet wasn't aware of today's hearing, but they were aware of it, and they provided a partial response. So I'm going to ask Fred for a little bit of direction on where we are. My understanding is tonight, what we want to do is have pretty much a preliminary hearing, hear what folks' concerns are and what actions might be appropriate. I'm not sure that we'll take any action tonight. We might want to get additional information from either your neighbors or from Down Street. But tonight, I think we just want to open up and make sure we understand what your concerns are and what we need to do to understand what, if anything, we can do to help address those concerns. Fred, do you have anything to add?
Like Brian said, this is a preliminary hearing to see if there's justifications for a health order to be issued against Down Street. So we're going to take in information from you all tonight, see if it is a public health hazard, really does exist. And if there is a public health hazard that we can document, we'll issue a health order against Down Street. But you're free to tell about other items of concerns that you have that within the trailer park. Liz,
Yeah.
Liz last name.
Coda.
I knew that.
I knew that.
I've been working with her. She's organized the groups there so they can come in and talk to us tonight.
I wish there was more, but
No, this is fine. She and I did a walk around on the 13th of this month of Vermont. I myself noticed several things that was less than desirable. A lot of trash piled up against some of the trailers, abandoned trailers. The dumpsters are bear proof, but unfortunately they're almost human proof too. There's two dumpsters. One of them, the metal door slide does not slide.
I have a hard time.
Yeah, and so I had to get garbage in it. The other one stands 4 feet before you can open up the lid, and it's a heavy lid. So to open up the lid and throw the trash in is tricky. And the door on the side of it is locked. So it makes it hard for the tenants to take care of their trash. This time of year, it's hard to tell if there is wastewater problem or stormwater problem. However, to the west side of the mound system has perpetually been very wet and unpleasant situation in there.
And with regard to that, we have some experience that Fred, as a health officer, 3 or 4 years ago, issued an order about the failing septic system and took that to the attention of both Down Street and the state.
Mhm.
And we have not been kept informed as far as what has been happening to address that, unfortunately.
I did a emergency health order to try to rectify that upper mound system.
Is that where
And-
the sapling trees are growing on top of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also observed quite a bit of dog feces. In fact, there's one area next to the road by the trees that's all it is. It hasn't been picked up.
Mm.
And I've known through time that the person that is hired to mow the lawn won't mow that area because he won't put his machine through it. So that's what I quickly observed the other day and some of the history that I know of. So I guess you want me to call the individuals or do you want to call?
Well, why don't we just start with anybody who has anything to add. We do have your letters, but if you want to summarize that would be helpful and kind of what your experiences have been. And Liz, since you were pointed out, do you want to go first?
Okay. I mean, pretty much, he said it pretty much in a nutshell. I mean, there's other things we observe. I don't even know where to start. I did have a couple of pictures I didn't submit in the beginning. One's the trash that comes out of the dumpster and goes in the field and in the stream, right there. And the other 3 are the bears that are this is last summer bears. And that's courtesy of Kathy Kerr that's here at her trailer.
They
They come
wander
out.
through my backyard all the time.
Yeah, and there's lots of kids over there and they're coming out at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The bears, they're bold because there's so much trash.
I mentioned I've been away, but I did drive by today and the trash was evidence. It wasn't associated with an individual
No, just.
unit, it was behind the
accumulation,
dumpsters.
Yeah,
And also the sliding door was wide open today,
oh, okay.
which from a bear standpoint defeats the purpose of having a door.
And also too with the dumpsters, they sent in, I think, the 2 new dumpsters, the recycle and the regular, a couple of years ago, I think it was a year and a half. And the bear-proof lid is on the recycle bin, not on the trash bin. Is there something wrong with that picture?
No, the trash bin does have a bear proof on it.
Oh,
You
it
just
does?
can't slide it.
Okay, I'm
because-
thinking about the top part. Okay,
Yeah, it's the top.
Right.
You just can't slide it because it's so rusted that and probably crap in there
Yeah.
that it's just, you can't
Okay.
slide it. But it
So
does
it's
have
kind of
the-
right, but kind of not right.
Yeah, well, those steel bars on the recycling one make no sense.
Right.
No, and
I just feel sorry for all the people that have so many problems. You know, with the clogging of their toilets and their driveways are gone. I mean, like I said, we have very minor, we can't mow our lawn anymore. The backside, ever since they did the septic, was all torn up. And then with these guys coming in with the water pipes last fall, they've destroyed it some more. I mean, we can't do anything like that. Can't even grow grass.
Yeah, they didn't, it was a really horrible condition after they left. They did not grade the lawns, they did not seed the lawns, they threw a handful of hay on the lawns.
Everything washed away.
And then, nothing that was going to stick, and then left huge root systems turned up. People in the water, what I'm assuming is like the new water pipes are all sticking out. So some people can't even use their driveway properly, like to get a
I
crowd.
wrote that much.
But and one of the main issues too is that we thought we had a property manager who was non-responsive. It's really hard to get through to Down Street, and comes to find out he was then fired. So, and the Down Street didn't let us know that Neil was now the new property manager, and had tried to reach out to him too, but that's the other thing. It's like there's nobody to communicate with, because this is like, it's too bad we have to come here to deal with this.
My
and the
understanding is
cooling
that
of
Neil
water.
is the head of all property maintenance for Down Street,
Right.
and he's the interim
Right.
until they find somebody to be on site.
Yeah.
But they could have let us know through
Yeah.
a notification, and there's water pooling. I mean, that pooling water is, breeding ground for mosquitoes and bugs, and, just, it's.
the pipe she's
And
talking.
I don't think,
Go ahead, Larissa.
so I was just gonna say, I don't think it was in the meeting packet, but we do, since Neil communicated with the board, and provided direct contact information. If you don't have it already, I wanna make sure that everybody has access to his contact information. There's a phone number. It's 802-477-1332.
Should we read that?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, we should probably share his response with all of you and send it on.
We can do that after we hear from the folks.
The,
And you were, it was a pretty detailed letter, which we appreciate, that you put together. One of 5 letters that we received. And I assume some of your others are authors of
Oh,
some
I
of the
have
others.
more detail, but it's not health hazard situation, it's just other things, but.
Yeah, I wrote a general letter, it's just
Could you state your name, please?
Dean Foley.
Yep.
And it's just, I didn't realize that the meeting was set up pretty much because of the wastewater problems and whatnot. But I lived next to Kathy and she had bad wastewater problems, and Kingsbury came and thought they fixed it, and just didn't come back. So obviously the problem wasn't solved, and Kathy had to get him back again, and I think they fixed the problem that time. They redug it and found that the people who put the water lines in broke the sewer pipe going out. But that's been remedied, apparently.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And, you know, my main problem is that all this could have been taken care of if it's on a lease, that they're supposed to, somebody in the land trust is supposed to walk through the property once a week, you know, and see the problems and hopefully do something about it. That just doesn't happen.
No, and
I haven't seen anybody walk through that place
No.
in over a year.
Oh, more than that, I think.
So that's in the lease that they're supposed to do that once a week? And
Yeah,
they
it's
have-
sort of the lease.
And now we have different, everybody has a different lease.
Okay.
I mean, when we moved in 2015, no dogs. You can have 2 cats, no dogs. Probably 80% of the people in the park have at least 1 or 2 dogs. Most of them do pick up their dog's business, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. And I even yell at some people, like, pick up your dog, you know, and you get a finger, you get a confrontation. It's ridiculous. Things are not enforced.
Well, that's the thing, like if somebody was there who was managing the property and there was fines put out for people who don't pick up their, you know, there's a couple bad apples, and we don't want that to affect everybody else, you
Right.
know, so we're looking for a little support in that way too.
Oh, man, all of it, you guys are saying it all. My dad lived there probably for
Ask your name.
Kyle Farnham. My old man's Todd, he lived there for 10 years before I was even born. That was 36 years ago, easy anyway. I lived there like my whole life, you know, so the place is only going worse. My trailer right now is probably the decrepit looking one up front, because we're rebuilding it. You walk inside, believe me, you'll see it's not decrepit. And a backyard issue, obviously, they did a crap job, whatever. Eventually, they should do my driveway and stuff, because that was really terrible. I'm just gonna keep this short and simple, but we did have a main pipe freeze that, I don't think it's just coincidence that this happened the year following them doing the lines, right? They redid those lines. And I chased it and snaked it 2 days straight, and our toilets were flushing, they were backing up. And I called around and I was doing my best to just do it myself. I ended up having to call at Kingsbury just for them to be there for 3 hours purging and just doing everything they can.
When
Just
was,
to find a freeze in the main drain pipe down below, a couple feet or whatever, you know, however many feet.
This was the wastewater
Yeah.
pipe?
Yeah, froze. That never happened the whole time my old man's been there.
Yeah,
And
I-
I've been there
When was that?
27 years myself.
I
when
had the
was
same
that?
issue.
What's that?
When was that?
Oh, this past winter,
Okay.
during a cold snap. You know, you would think I waited the next day, though it was like warm enough. You know, normally something unthaws.
Okay.
If I accidentally don't run my, you know, taps dripping, you know, it'll freeze up as expected.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
sewer, we have never had a problem with a main pipe freezing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So whatever the hell they had come in and do the water, dude, I got a kid and a lady at home. None of us were stoked. Bad. Like, it takes all of you not to walk into their office and make it
It was
fresh.
it was a cold winter, but we've had colder ones.
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
it's just pound sand, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. My dad lived there for 36 plus years or whatever, so never had that problem once until this past year. I mean, we'd go on forever, and especially with that punk letting his dog take a shit by the road. Like, when I was leaving, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
I can't say nothing because, you know, it'll only expire to something you don't want. You know, I got a kid, I can't go to jail, right? But let's be real, guys,
But
this
it
place
pisses
is
you off.
bad. It went from just regular yard issues that need to be maintained, which should never happen, ever. That's 20 plus years of never actually being done. Especially us, we're not on slabs, we're not new trailers. So we sync with everything.
Yeah.
Everyone else is pretty much a slab. There's very few of us that aren't slabs. And we're sinking.
But now
And
we
we're
have to
screwed.
pay
And now that everything
for
been
it.
flooded, and they did all that piping, the frost heaving, unreal, because all that moisture that's trapped down below is so much extra. Again, I could go on forever, but key points is like, yeah, they definitely screwed up and something's gotta be done.
So my understanding, and I'm, for better or worse, have recently been on the water commission, is that we hooked up to the existing system when the water system was put in 12 years ago. And that started to fail, and then Downstreet went in and replaced the internal system that serves all of the individual units, that's right?
Yeah, they did that this past fall.
And you're thinking that some of the problems with drainage and
Oh,
It's just too much of
It's
a
110%.
coincidence, it's not one
Like I
person.
said,
It's like
30+ years doing
bunch of
it.
trailers.
I mean, I've been in my place
Yeah.
since '91. I had the same
Yeah.
issue Kyle did back in January.
So
I'm
did
Kathy
a
Kerr.
couple other
And I had the same issue with my septic. It backed up. Kingsbury came in and they ran a camera down it and they were like, oh, there's roots in the septic system, in your septic pipe. And so they got it cleared somewhat and I thought it had frozen. And I've been there since '91 and I've never had any issues with my septic.
Those trees are a big point.
Oh, yeah,
Very
yeah.
dangerous. They marked them with caution tape, what was that, last year or 2 years
Yeah.
ago, just left them to do nothing. Those trees could crush a trailer, car, everything.
We have
What are they
two
gonna
outside
expect
of us.
our insurance to pay for it all? Like, no, I've had branches, oh man, I didn't send the pics, dumb. But I had branches as long as this table, I usually knocked a couple feet in front of my truck. Oh, man, I'm telling you.
Mhm.
And so roots being a problem just makes it 10 times worse, other than the liability of everything falling in. I mean, these are old maples like this big, and then they had conjoined growing maples. I don't know if you've seen them, but
The ones with the
Cables.
wires, with the cables.
well, those
like
cables ain't gonna do nothing. It's
I know.
rotted in the
We had-
middle for the past 10 years.
Our
That
trees
thing's
are
been
like that
growing
too, right
mushrooms
up
They
front.
forever.
cabled some of the trees
Yeah.
together, so they won't fall out.
I don't know if
I
that's
guess,
right.
although, Kathy, you wrote a letter as well.
Yeah, so in January I had, the issue where I thought, it took me several days to get hold of Downstreet. Finally, it was on a weekend that it happened anyways. So, Kingsbury came in, they ran a camera down, I was told at that time that there was roots in the septic line. And then back in the end of March, here just recently, I was, had it started backing up in my house again. And I tried to get hold of Downstreet, no returns. And I finally said I had no patience and I called Kingsbury. And Kingsbury came in, they spent probably 3 hours there. They couldn't get any further than in the septic pipe, 14 feet from my house. And there was, from where they put the water line in, I've got trenches. And then there was a hole out there, probably that big to start with. And it just kept growing. And Kingsbury was putting water down in there and it just kept getting bigger. And finally, they were just like, we can't do anything more with it. The line's cracked.
Kathy, is it because that the water lines were placed on top of
The water line was placed over the top of the septic.
And
line.
that's
Yes.
typically not how it should be done, am I?
So they hit it when they were digging.
Okay.
So it had collapsed, it turned out it
I
collapsed.
thought there needs to be a separation distance between.
I
water
thought
and
there was
wastewater.
supposed to be too.
There is. But you've seen that pumps that were doing it.
Oh, yeah, 2 kids and one.
Yeah, those guys had no idea what they were doing, there was no supervision.
No, there wasn't. The boss, I asked him where boss was. I gave him
There's
shit.
no,
Down-
they
just
were
from
clueless
Hampshire.
what they were doing.
Downstreet took the lowest bid.
Yeah,
Hello? And we're
Took a little
sucking for
bit.
it.
Well,
Well, the roots in the
non-profit
wastewater
generally
system
cheats.
implies a bigger problem than the water line if there's
yeah.
a broken main.
Well, and I know my septic runs into a septic tank on the other side of Dean's place.
No,
So,
those roots will mess up your town water lines real good. If it isn't already happening now. So there's a lot of little things, man, on, technically what would be your end concern. Obviously, the driveway has nothing to do with you or anything, but that needs to be a point because it floods. When things flood, the ground goes to shit and you know what happens from there.
Yeah, we need, a lot of
Yes,
us
it
need
was.
to have something put down, stone or something has to
Yeah.
be done, but driveways. I mean, even ours goes like.
So
The
just
water
for clarity,
lines on-
can I ask a quick question?
Yes, yep, please.
And it's possible this has been addressed already, so forgive me if I'm repeating things, but so I know it's served by municipal water. At what point does the sort of town-owned water system stop and the Downstreet owned water system start?
I didn't want to put him on the spot, but Robin Morris is
Oh,
our water
sorry.
commission chair, so
Yeah.
he may be able to answer that.
So there's a meter house on the entrance. And we have a meter there for the main cutoff, and that's where the town water finishes. In 2013, we signed a consecutive agreement with Down Street Housing, which was Central Vermont.
Community Land Trust.
They are responsible for the maintenance and repair of all the pipes from the master meter location.
That's the crux of what I was getting at.
Is that the pump house that you're talking about? or-
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to share that we have some concerns about the way the water pipes were done. There was an email with Down Street on 13th of February. And Nate has it on his work plan to visit each of the meter pits, to check each of the meter pits, because he found one meter pit with the old lines still in the meter pit.
Huh.
Which makes it very difficult to get down to the meter, and if you need to pump that out, there's a problem with that. So we haven't done it yet because we're waiting for the snow to go and the land to dry up. But Nate's got it on his work plan.
Nate is our water operator
Yeah.
who we hired to run the whole system. I did notice that the cutoffs are that above the ground,
Yeah,
unlike
yeah.
all the
Are
others.
those shut-offs? Is that what they are? Are they shut-offs?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Those are shut-offs.
And some people have it right in your driveway, and they
Yes,
couldn't
yes.
balance
A
it.
few
So
that are
are we
like,
talking
2 feet above the
Pipes
ground.
where the shut-off key goes down.
Yeah, like the one that broke in front of the
Okay,
wine
they
shop.
shouldn't be.
They need to be flush.
Oh, yeah,
the ground
So-
level.
There were 9 inches of grade in my backyard.
The other question that I'm going to ask is, there was an engineer, Grenier Engineering, who were responsible for the water pipes. And I think we should be in touch with them to get their opinion off the job that was done.
Because our is, and again, and I'm not trying to pass the buck, but our responsibility ends at the meter pit, at the pump house at the beginning.
Well, no, our responsibility is to provide good water to everyone at Vermont.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as part of that, we also test Vermont. We last tested Vermont on 17th of February. And, you know, we test all around the system once a month. We'll test different places. But our response, and we own the meters. We, if it's not working, we're part of the solution. You know, working with Downstreet to get it working.
What other, so we've talked about the problems with the installation of the new water system, the wastewater system, which we know that there's been chronic problems with the leach field, but also the collection system seems to be another chronic problem. Waste management, you know, trash management, animal waste management, all seem to fall under the purview of the Board of Health and the health officer in terms of making sure that the place is, you know, sanitary and public health is
Livable.
protected.
The cooling of the water, since there's no grass, there's no, the mud, that's definitely an issue for.
Stormwater.
It's not going anywhere.
My kid can't play in the front field because this guy's dog shit, you know?
And he has kids himself. They're just like sitting in it and
Yeah,
playing with it,
I
and
know.
God knows what else he's doing. It's just horrible.
Some people have kids that maybe shouldn't, that's all.
Yeah, oh yeah, we know that.
So there's a wastewater and a stormwater problem.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear what Neil had to say.
yeah, I'll read that in just a second. I just want to make sure we all, I guess who, is Tanya? You sent a lot of pictures and they
No, I
pre,
didn't send any pictures.
Oh.
I did.
just sent the
I did.
pictures.
oh, okay, they're after your letter.
Oh, okay.
So that looks a lot like wastewater to me.
On the bubbling up
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
Conley Road.
And where
It's really bad right now.
where was that relative to the leach field?
Let's see. It's in different spots. It's not just one spot. If you're looking at, you know, Lydia's house, It's on Trombley Road, it's right
Oh, yeah, yeah.
across from us. If you're looking at her house, it's on the left-hand side, it starts like, looks like a cross, and then it's spreading out. There's some over here, there's another one over here, they're everywhere. It's not just one spot, it's just, and today, when we just drove here, it's like, oh my God. It's like, you know, Yosemite's gonna be hitting there pretty soon.
It's the upper
The upper field.
leach field,
Yeah.
yeah. There's two leach fields there. And supposedly they switch back and forth. You give one a rest while the other one is active. But it's the upper one that has, I've noticed, has had the problems.
Isn't the lower one wetter?
Place was built on a swamp.
No, they built the leach field in.
Well, because of the problems with the upper one,
Trombley's
that's where all the,
foundation.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where they're putting most of they're not switching it as often because that's,
could be.
I don't know.
There isn't anybody to do it.
Well, that was gonna be my question, is if it's something that has to be actively done by someone. It sounds like there hasn't been anyone around for a while.
It has to be manually switched, yes.
I'm curious, and this is just based on my own experience with Down Street, for disclosure, they're my next door neighbor. I live, my house is by River Meadows. And I had friends who live there, and I've observed a decline in their maintenance after COVID about 5-6 years ago. It did get better over there after some complaints, but I think there's similar frustrations to what you guys are experiencing. Unfortunately, they have a better functioning septic system, and I think a newer water system.
And having worked over at Evergreen, volunteering over there, I know that their residents have also, I heard, and this was a few years ago, multiple complaints about them never being able to get in touch.
My mom lives there.
Or, yeah, so just learn that in there too.
I just don't think Down Street's doing their job. They really aren't.
No, it's like they keep, I have a list of our rents that was raised every year in January. And like, last year, yeah, I think it was last year, it went up $17. This year it went up $18. Yeah, it's not a lot, but it's been like $98 in a few years. Or like maybe 6 years. A rent for what? And every January 1st with a check. Why? Can you give us, by Vermont tenants law, we're allowed to know where this money is going to. Why are you raising it? No answer. Just blow us off. Put that money into your new projects. That's what we feel like. We feel like we've been just neglected. Yeah, oh, they live in the trailer parks. Screw them. That's how I feel. Seriously.
So
When you had to call Kingsbury, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just when you had no luck getting a hold of Down Street and you've had to call Kingsbury, where does that bill go when Kingsbury finishes? Do they send it to Down Street or do they send it to you guys as individuals?
I did not receive a bill and I refused, told them I wasn't going to get a bill, so.
Same here.
Okay, no, I mean, that's just my question. I mean, it's not, as we're,
Well, I
Thinking
was
about this
told
before.
if there was a clog up in my house, when Kingsbury came the first time, if there was clog in my house, that was my responsibility, which I understand. If it was below that, that was Down Street's responsibility. So, both times I was told that by Kingsbury and I totally understood that and had no problem with that.
And Kingsbury was responsive.
Right.
Do you guys know the name of the water contractor?
No, never saw.
From New
It's
Hampshire.
always just
Some
big,
group out in Hampshire.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. Just some, we always just saw the big machinery. That's it. We never signed it. Sign on their truck. They dropped off 2 kids basically to do it. No,
I
I'm
was told
serious.
that everything would be exactly like it was when they left.
Back in
And that is
1900
so
maybe.
far from the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Every trailer has a mud flat
I
by
have
it.
trenches.
Wherever they dug, it's just a mess.
People are parking their cars on pallets.
Yeah, I mean, I know
Why?
mud season, but this is
Yeah, my car,
ridiculous.
I have a Dart that I went to get started for the season, don't drive in the winter. And it was sinking in the mud so bad, again, first time ever, my whole life, any car doing it, sunk in so bad, I had to hammer it out of there. And before I put it back, I was like, I'm just gonna put down this particle board from the
Yeah.
scrap of construction I'm doing over at my place. Again, place doesn't look mint, everyone will get over it, because when I'm done, it's gonna look better than theirs, then they cry about it. But yeah,
Wow,
wild
those
things.
words,
You
those
can't
words.
even go into like half of where you would anyway. You used to be able to like slide things down into my backyard if you needed to for service or whatever, anything. The wellhead sticking up, and then the trench. I mean, did you see it? You did the walk around that in front of my trailer there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So if anyone went to service anything, didn't notice it, they hit that. I mean, they could bottom out their vehicle pretty easily.
And then the only other thing I wanna add, and I don't know if this is the appropriate, but since we're talking about it, there are some open compost areas that people are using, and I'm all for composting, but I think, like, if we had a manager, maybe we could say they should be enclosed because we do have the bear issue, and we do have children that are there, and these bears are emboldened, as you will see, so
They are.
it's just, that seems like a like a safety
Mhm.
issue also.
No, it's a health
And
issue.
people are throwing meat out, like, we have coyotes right there, we have, like,
Skunk, raccoon,
Well,
everything's,
I've-
you walk out your door and it's
Look,
like.
They
I've-
come out of the cornfield.
yeah,
I've
and I'm
tra-
not, I want people to compost.
Yeah, I've trapped 3 skunks out
Yeah.
there
I remember that.
in the past.
Oh, they're so.
And open compost piles are source of food for rats,
Oh, yeah, it's horrible.
rats and raccoons.
And then something that I didn't mention in my letter, our mailboxes were broken and down the street, like, oh, okay, that was it, that's a response, oh, okay, got it, or whatever. And I had to finally go down last fall to the post office and, hey, when it rains, the mail gets wet. We've had, you open up your thing, oh, here comes a big hairy spider, okay, let's just throw it in the car, it's gonna come home with you. Yeah, then it came to a point last winter where one side where my box is, the whole thing is broken. You used to open it up like this and take somebody's mail. Oh, there's a check. That wasn't cool. Down Street didn't give a damn. Nothing. It stayed there for months. Last fall I went down to the post office. They're like, well, we're too busy to take care of that. Obviously, they were busy because we didn't get mail for once every 2 weeks, all of that. But hello, so finally somebody fixed it. I don't know why. And when it was finally fixed, and then, no, actually last summer, this is disgusting. I actually saw a cockroach crawling up the side. I wish I had my phone with me to take a picture. I'm from New York City, I know what they look like. You have your German and you have the English. This was the English one. And I wish I took a picture. I saw that and I went, if I see one ever near my house, I'm out of there. I mean, I came to Vermont to get away from that crap. 50 years ago, but yeah.
Well, let me, I'll, at a quarter of 4 today, a few of us received an email from Neil. I'll just read it. Dear members of the select board, I'm writing on behalf of Down Street to let you know that we became aware today of the concerns shared by the town of Waitsfield.
Shared with the town of
the town of Waitsfield, sorry, yeah. As owners and managers of Birdmont, although we are unable to be there this evening, we want to share the following information. Regarding the difficulties with water pipe infrastructure project. The project occurred in the fall, immediately prior to winter conditions settling in. The project did create disruptions for the homeowners, including disruptions in water and electric service, which we worked to mitigate, but which unquestionably had an impact on the tenants. The park is served by town water and does not have its own water source. The goal of this project was to provide new water pipe infrastructure to the park. The wastewater system, however, is not municipal, is on site and has experienced significant challenges. Down Street staff concur that there has been ground settling this spring on the park grounds and are working to bring the contractor back on site to follow up. Regarding the difficulties of the on-site septic system, the aging infrastructure of this park has been a significant challenge, and we've worked with Kingsbury to address immediate needs as we do longer-term planning to address the underlying conditions which require state or federal resources. Kingsbury has been on site several times to address frozen pipes under homes and will continue to be engaged as needed to deal with urgent water and infrastructure needs. Down Street experienced some property management turnover in February for this area, and until that position is refilled, all tenant concerns should be directed to me in my roles as Director of Property Management. Again, that's Neil Smith, 802-477-1332, to support an expedited process. In terms of next steps as owners and managers of Birdmont, Down Street staff will be touring the community and setting up an informational meeting with resident owners in the immediate future, and we will be back in touch with the select board to report on the outcomes of those discussions. We would also be happy to participate in a future meeting. This summer, we are planning a park-wide cleanup, which will include a large open-top dumpster to remove refuse and large items, including tires. We will be working to replace the mailboxes. We will be exploring funding options for infrastructure upgrades at this park, as well as our other parks. In the next few days, we will fully review all of the concerns raised by individual tenants, and we'll be in touch with each of them to discuss those concerns within the next week. Thank you for the opportunity to share this information with you as part of our ongoing work in this community. So an immediate takeaway is you got their attention.
Yeah.
Which is a good start.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
In the very beginning of that, when they stated the dates or whatever about them when they were starting the project, the water project, first of all, the letter I got, I'm sure everybody else got, they're supposed to start around or about August 7th. They started the second week of September. I have it documented. So I don't want them to say that, they're blaming that on it because they were supposed to start like a month and a half before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's,
I just- I mean, this, and to talk to Neil, I get no answer on anything. I mean, he's just as bad as the other people, I'm sorry. I dealt with him since 2015.
But it does sound like now we're like as coming together as a group,
Well,
like
let's
they're
hope so.
gonna have to, like, and now you guys are aware, like, I think that's our hope is that we've brought attention to this. Because I know you've been struggling along, you've got folders and that's not okay, but.
I got letters, but I emailed to him, texted him, I got copies, no responses, nothing. Or like I said, okay, got it, okay, thank you. And then nothing. I mean, that's not how, it's slumlord, it's not a landlord.
I think, as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, this is new to us, and this role is a little bit new to us, but I think I'm speaking for the whole board to say, we want to do whatever we can to
And we appreciate it.
to support you and to make sure that these issues are addressed. And I think that we need to go on record with Downstreet in some way, whatever the appropriate way is, that we share these concerns and that they're unacceptable to the town.
Okay.
I don't know, is that anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in addition, we meet every 2 weeks, so we'll meet again 2 Mondays from now. He's made a bunch of commitments, Neil has, to respond in days. If you can stay in touch with us, if you can let York know if they've been responsive or not within that 2 week period, that would, to me, if they haven't done anything, when we meet again in 2 weeks, we should
Consider a
agree
health order.
as the health board to file the, I forget
Health
the name.
order.
the health-
Well,
York's away next week, so Fred might be on the hook.
Go ahead and contact me.
I think something that, we're kind of like, I don't know if we're overlooking this or not, but I think the most important thing is for them to do what they said they were gonna do on contract, walk somebody through, once a week, and I don't think it would ever get to this. If they see this dog poop all over the place, they're gonna find out where it's coming from.
I've gotten it.
And deal with it. And if they get, there's garbage around a certain place, you're gonna know who did it and stuff, but if they never send anybody through,
They can't enforce it.
and plus I've called them and called them and called them and called them, and they don't answer your calls. So,
Well, I did get through one time. I'm a real stickler about my check register. I just want to make sure where my money is and that my check's clear. It was weeks. My rent check to them did not clear. I called, I couldn't get anybody, so finally somebody called back and left a message. They were too busy to make the deposit.
Yeah, we have problems with that
And
too.
then they got to it that week. So you can't be too busy for stuff like this. They have to take care of it. I'm sorry.
So Fred, do you have any additional thoughts on a path forward?
I think, as Church mentioned, we'll wait 2 weeks, see if Downstreet makes good on their promise of communicating with everybody. And if not, we also have a few items there that we may want to address, such as the water and sewer line improperly installed by the sounds.
Yeah, I can't have my pipes freeze like that. Shit coming back up through the toilet. That's a liability. That's a big liability.
Now, do we, in situations like that, if things just kept going like this, do we have the right to get a lawyer and put our money into escrow? legally?
I don't-
That's another thing, where's our rent going to?
You can raise
Yeah,
my
that's-
lawn rent if you actually take care of it, for all I care, to be honest, but they don't.
So I have two comments on it. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
One, I'm not sure what's in, it sounds like you have different leases based on when you originally signed them, but if there is boilerplate remedies for when there are things going wrong and they are not in compliance with their lease, like whether it's inspection or more serious, if there's anything in there that you can do. And then there is a, let's see, I just was looking it up, residential rental housing health and safety code, which applies to all residential rentals in Vermont. Whether or not the municipality has its own code, which I don't think we do. So that has a lot of stuff in there just from a quick look about a lot of these issues, like there can't be sewage coming to the ground. And that's an owner responsibility. And then, so you came to us, which is great. And I think we can work to help them fix it. And if they don't, there is a remedy through the state where you would submit a complaint.
It's online.
There's a website that I can read out the URL.
I
And-
did.
But also, if there's an ongoing health issue, we have the authority
Right,
to do a
yeah,
health.
so I'm saying there's two angles that we can go at this from. And I think both could be good tools. And as for getting a lawyer, that's always a viable option. I'm just not sure exactly who to get.
When was the last time you renewed your leases?
2015.
Once
You signed
when we
once?
first moved in, Yep,
And
and I
what,
think everybody should sign it.
okay,
It's just automatic renews.
Yeah, we got a letter in November saying your rent's going up $3,000.
yeah. I'm wondering how your lease reads, if it says automatically renews or if it's a 12-month lease
I
or,
don't remember. I haven't looked at it in a while.
it's been so long since you reviewed it with them. I'm concerned about the water and the sewer lines crossing. That may be beyond the scope of what these folks can.
Well, he talked about bringing the contractor back to correct the issue. I think that, I hope they're gonna include Grenier with that. Ultimately, I assume he would have signed off on the as-bills.
I got 3 contacts for Grenier.
Yeah.
The main contact and then 2 other people. But I think the challenge I see in the next 2 weeks is getting Nate to do the visit, just because it's his children are off and he's away.
This is an example.
So, I think there's a couple of things. We do need to follow up as a water commission to look at what our rights and responsibilities and obligations to you guys to make sure you're getting clean water is. We do have this commitment from Neil to follow up in the short term. I think that we ought to respond to the email in some way saying that we take this really seriously and that we are expecting more than, we're expecting fixes, not
Promises.
meetings. And that the water and sewer line and the other health issues are a very serious concern to the select board, and we're gonna be following up, at a later date or something along those lines.
Can you ask for a timeline from him so that he can be more accountable?
To ask him for a
Ask him for
timeline?
a
Yeah,
more specific timeline, not just like, oh, we're gonna be doing this, but like, we wanna know the dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it seems like there's a lot of lip service and
Yeah.
There's nothing getting done.
nothing.
well, I think we let them know that we're meeting in 2 weeks and we're gonna want to see progress in that time.
Now, did you want us at this meeting again in 2 weeks or?
I think keep in touch with us
Okay.
and if we meet as a Board of Health again, it would probably be good for you to be here.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
and
just,
I assume that we will at some point in the not too distant future be in the Board of Health role again
Yeah.
around this issue.
I mean, this is a little bit far-fetched here, but this is back in 21. I mean, just like I said, trying to be in contact with down the street, as we all know, is horrible. Back in 2021, a lot of us were trying to get rid of this one person that lived there, right next door. It was really bad scene, really bad, really bad, to the point where we were like, we gotta get out of here. It took 8 years to get this guy evicted. I mean, the water froze every winter. They were pooping in a bucket and dropping it out back. It was witnessed, okay, constantly. I had to go through peaceful enjoyment notification. I filed with the Attorney General, Vermont Tenants Association for non-compliance against Down the Street, for not even responding to anything. Fred Messer, remember it was the guy next door, Sean Armstrong. Champlain Economic Department, Health and Safety, and Legal Aid for instructions on how to stop paying rent. Took 8 years finally by Liz Gens, who used to work for Down the Street. She was kind of helpful in a way. She actually came to the house once. And it took 8 years to get him evicted. I mean, hello? That's bull. I want to see this get done soon, before we either all drink the water, drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So,
and a lot of this stuff is mentioned in the rental code, which if you search fire safety, rental housing, health and safety, it'll take you to a landing page which has a link to the code, a link to the complaint process, and a link to filing that claim. And then there's also just Vermont statute, which has sections on habitability and your remedies. So
So the town health officer can't enforce that any longer. It has to be done by the fire marshal.
well, Vermont state law says if the landlord fails to comply with the landlord obligations for habitability, and after receiving actual notice of the noncompliance from the tenant, a governmental entity, or a qualified independent inspector, the landlord fails to make repairs within a reasonable time, and the noncompliance materially affects health and safety, the tenant may withhold the payment of rent for the period of the noncompliance, obtain injunctive relief, recover damages, costs, and reasonable attorney's fees, and terminate the rental agreement on reasonable notice. So this is section 4458 of the Vermont statutes. And the section before that is landlord obligations with regard to habitability. And then I think that's expanded upon in the code that is maintained by the Department of Fire Safety.
yeah, but what our role as a Board of Health is in enforcing that, I guess, is not clear.
No, yeah, I would say,
Well, it says a public entity can.
yeah, we can
Be
be part
sure,
of
yeah.
giving them the notice that they're not complying. But they've also received it from the tenants now.
Yeah.
So that kind of process has started where now they need to fix it in a reasonable amount of time, or else you have the remedies contained within state law.
But the enforcement officer is now the fire marshal, not the town health officer. It used to be the town health officer.
I changed it in 2022. Yeah, I was just reading about that actually.
Well, I'm pretty sure that that's one of the things we're addressing today, right? Is reassigning who the fire marshal is. That's sort of outside the scope of what we're talking about. Never mind.
One quick question. There is a Waitsfield leash law, correct?
There is.
All right.
Newly updated one, in fact.
Yes, and was it called like recollect or something like that? If you can have your dog off the leash if you know that dog will come back to its owner when called.
At our last meeting, we approved the new ordinance, which is on a physical restraint.
Okay, all right, because I heard
It
that.
was under voice control at one time.
Yes, exactly, yep,
And we've changed it to,
good.
because
So that's a little
oftentimes,
sketchy, that's a big gray
Yeah.
area.
a lot of times owners think that it's under voice control when it's wrong.
Okay, good, that's a good thing.
Now, they're allowed to have them off leash on their property,
Okay, on their property.
On their
Not
property.
everybody's property,
not everybody's
Right,
property.
that's-
So on that little section that they own,
right,
the
okay,
dog can be
so,
on. But if it sits one paw out there in the street,
mhm,
they're running at large.
all right,
And give
And
me,
we
and
changed.
give me a call.
okay, yeah, I won't bother you with that.
What's that?
We made the modifications to that ordinance, but as part of the adoption process, I think there's a lag when that actually goes into effect. So I don't know the specific effective date, but it's not. Am I I correct that it's not currently in effect?
Isn't there 60 days?
It's 60 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little ambiguous because half the ordinance actually says it does have to be under physical restraint. There was one section that said voice. So yeah, 60 days, which I have written on the ordinance when it is, and I think it's early June or end of May.
If you have a habitual problem with dogs running at large,
Oh, yeah.
let me know.
Okay.
Best way to do it is give me an email. I need it written out.
And if my dog's out on the lead, because I'm a responsible dog owner, and like people like Dino, responsible dog owners, if someone's rabid dog, like my dog, messes her up real bad, but if she messes him up, sucks for you, you know? So that's a.
Yeah, there's
that's
only a
big,
few people that have their dogs in the leash in the park.
And if you
And
do,
few that pick up the poop.
common
if
sense.
you do write me with a complaint, date, time, what the situation was.
Okay, you'll get a long letter from me.
And owner, if you know,
Okay,
description of the dog, facts. I need exact facts. I know that you're upset, but I need the facts in order to
sure.
enforce the ordinance.
Yeah, a mastiff running around, it's a little scary to kids in the park.
So we're gonna, I think we're pretty much ready to move on. I want to appreciate, I really appreciate your bringing it to our attention because I think it's
We
an
appreciate
important
you
role that we
listening to
play.
us.
Hearing it.
Yeah, we need a voice.
Yeah, and
know.
we need
Yeah,
to
hopefully you guys get.
have your back.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Right.
So do you have the letters that these guys have written, or
Yeah.
what are you gonna do with those?
Well, they are part of the public record because they're part of
Okay.
our package. I mean, unless you have any objections, I think we would,
Well, I wrote a letter myself, but it was before I knew it was for, most of my letters, you can't, you're just supposed to send somebody around here once a week. There's certain places that they don't take care of their place and, once again, I think if they sent somebody once a week the way they're supposed to, the problem would be solved.
I'd settle for twice a month.
if they follow up, yeah.
Yeah. it's
You're saying you have a letter that you sent to Downstreet that you'd like
I
us
haven't
to be?
sent it yet,
Okay.
but,
I would encourage you to copy us so it's all part of our record.
okay. Is there a copy machine here?
Yes.
No.
Yep. There is.
I can also
I can
copy
copy
that.
it.
Okay, well, I'll get it copied and, I'll
That's
give
your
you,
guys'
give you a
copy.
copy and send another copy of that.
of it.
That'd be great. So we will reference that we've gotten
I
some
don't
pretty
know.
extensive complaints from tenants and they are part of our record.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Can I
Thank
get
you.
those pictures, or do you want those pictures?
No,
No, I think we have those.
Is that-
And
Enjoy the
should
rest
we
of it,
schedule a
guys.
health
Thank you
officer
very much.
and health
Nice to
board
meet you.
meeting for our next?
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
take care. Take care.
So.
That was good. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Take care.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, okay, very good.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're gonna move you up. I think Brian's gonna move you up to the committee. Like when you
Yes.
wrote, I had already put this right now. So, yeah, we're gonna move you up so you're the first thing after I hear from the public.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and then,
The key question.
do you want to do the fire hose thing right after the fire warden in case, do you know anything about the fire hose?
What I saw,
know
what
a
I
little
hear.
bit about it.
I don't-
Why don't we go ahead and do it?
I don't think
Since
it's
you're
worth it.
contractual.
So-
Your leadership in the department might as well be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Did you see those standby?
If that's
So-
okay.
So Brian, a logistical question?
Yes.
Do we have to adjourn the health
Recording
board?
is stopped.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And I was just thinking about that everybody ran away before we did that. So,
Yeah,
and Dave's, there's Dave.
We'll
So
get it.
a motion to adjourn our board of
Thank you.
Start this. Sorry.
Recording in progress.
I'll respond to your email.
Which one?
Most recent.
so I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn the special health board meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Hi.
All right.
Alright,
You don't get a vote.
I'm sorry.
So we'll call to order our select board meeting. And are there any additions, removals, or modifications to the meeting agenda pursuant to 1 VSA 3212 D3A? I'm going to suggest that we move item H and item I up to the beginning. The appointing of a fire warden, because we have our prospective fire warden here tonight. And since he is an officer with the fire department, we'll deal with the fire hose acquisition after that, if that's okay. So, is that okay?
Yep.
And then is there anybody here for public forum? Nope. So our first item will be appointing the fire warden. The town administrator's report provided some background. Cam offered to be here to introduce himself and provide a little bit of his interest in the position. So Cam, I'll just turn it over to you as far as your interest and what your thoughts on the job are.
Yeah, so just like quick background about myself, before moving to the Valley, I spent 3 seasons as a wildland firefighter out west. So I do have a bit of knowledge there. And, I'd like to bring that back here to this community and, kind of help with wildland fire suppression, giving permits for burns, all that. And yeah, and I've been on with the Waitsfield Fire Department for 3 years now. I'm currently a lieutenant with them. So yeah, Chief Jared Young reached out to me the other day and asked if I would be interested in taking over his previous role as the as a forest fire warden, and I said absolutely. So
I gotta ask you, I do at least one burn pile a year. What's your, the balance between kind of landowners wanting to get rid of all the brush they've been cutting and all the invasive species and making sure we don't get out of control and start a brush fire?
yeah, it's definitely just obviously, especially this time of year, just very weather dependent, So this week
It would be a great time.
it'd be a great time.
Yeah.
We're supposed to get rain all week, so perfect. Yeah. Go ahead, a week like this, issue those permits if need be, but
And the process is still give you a call, you'll say whether it's okay or not.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Text, phone call,
Okay.
all that, yep.
Do you want to provide your contact
Yeah.
information here?
Yeah,
I got a
yeah.
file.
Sorry for all of us texting you this week.
Yeah.
Sue.
So Cam Mills, phone number is 802-999-6975.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you to repeat.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, you
I
got it.
have it, Brian, I can give it to you.
I think we should put that on our website. if that's
We do.
okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that would be easy for you.
Right.
And I'll just add, Valerie, previous town administrator, sent me a message this morning about another town that did a whole bunch, that's doing some like notifications to the community about fire, et cetera. And thought that maybe it'd be something we'd be interested in doing. And I sent it to Jared and Cam right away responded and said he'd be happy to work on a front porch for him. So let the community know about
Yeah.
what his position would do.
Just-
And that's amazing.
Yeah, I would definitely like to, put a post out there within the next couple days or so and just kind of introduce myself as new fire warden and just kind of let everybody know, to reach out for burn permits and kind of the regulations involved with all that. So
That's great.
Which town do you live in?
I live actually just right next door. Yeah.
Well, that's an easy
Yeah.
trip to the
The
station.
green building right there.
Yeah.
So
So do we need to
Yes.
formally appoint him, or is this, okay,
Yes, you have a motion to do that?
I would so move.
Is there a second? To appoint Cam Mills as our fire warden? Second, Fred?
Second, yeah.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you,
absolutely.
appreciate
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
One last
Absolutely.
quick question. Being on the fire service and everything, how much do you know about ICS? Are you familiar with ICS?
I am, yeah. Instant command system there.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, great, good. Spread the wealth. Let everybody know.
Absolutely.
And where were you in Colorado?
Yeah, so when I was in Colorado, but the fire crews that I was working with, we went all over the West. So
That's what my father currently does.
oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah, I think I fought
He has a
fires
T-shirt that
and
says "Real firefighters use chainsaws." But
yeah, I think I fought fires in 12 different states out there. So all
My
over.
cousin who lives in Boulder who lost their camp in southern Colorado on fire.
it's great that we have you here.
I'm glad we don't have that kind of force here.
Thank you, Cam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yes, appreciate it.
So the second item is purchasing new hoses for the fire department. You're gonna provide some background in the.
I mean, Cam may be better, but essentially when Curtis and I met with the fire department in December, as the conversation went on, one thing that came to light were the fire hoses that I guess are out of compliance. Was that essentially the way it was put?
Yeah.
And that there was a plan over the years to like start buying little sections at a time. And I think Chach and the select board felt like in our reserves, it seemed like it was something worth just doing it because there are real safety concerns.
Mm-hmm. So I believe some of them were just old, so they didn't meet compliance, and then believe also when some of them were tested, because we have a company that comes in and tests all of them. I believe some of them did not pass those tests. So
Yeah, Jared and some of your peers said there's a safety issue that if you kick it in just the right way, when it's pressurized, it can come apart.
Mhm.
The latching system doesn't have a lock or something and it can come apart and do serious injury. So that seemed like a no-brainer, and it is in the budget for exactly the amount that's.
Is it in this year's budget?
It's in the 2027 budget just passed in March.
In the reserve budget.
Yeah, in the capital plan, capital improvement plan budget. It's a line item in the, can't remember, it's the equipment and building reserve. It's
Yeah,
in one of
that's
the
more-
reserves.
I was wondering if Facein is aware of.
They don't appear to be. I've had emails back and forth with Madison and mostly Sarah, their treasurer. And I'm hoping that they're gonna take it up at their meeting tomorrow, but Sarah wasn't confident that they'd have room. I'll try to push it tomorrow if the select board says, yes, we'd like to go ahead with that purchase. And to be clear, it's 19,000 and change. The 60% for Waitsfield is 11,595, and the Facein share would be 7,730.
And we're carrying that 11,000 in our SIP budget.
We have hose and equipment line item, and it's only 10 grand in their operating budget. I'm not looking at the capital budget.
Yeah, we specifically put it's exactly that same amount, the 19.
Functionally, how does that work? If we want to move forward, we send our share and then Facein will send their share, or do we do the whole thing and then they reimburse us their share?
They usually do reimbursements.
Yeah.
And I think,
Seems
I
clear.
am hopeful they'll see that it's a life safety issue.
I'm tempted to, I don't know, maybe I'll write the select board tomorrow. And I haven't done that, but maybe it's up to you all, how you want me to.
I think it's worth stressing the life safety issue. My notes from that meeting also said there was, I think, I can't remember, it was 1,000 feet of hose needed to replace.
I believe it's 2,000.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
one or
it's
two, but this is
2,000,
only 400 feet, right? So this is a start. This is, 20% of the total.
Well, this isn't the whole inventory.
No, this is like, I think because the total cost of all 2,000 feet would be, 100 grand. If this is
I think, no, this is.
No,
this
let
is
me-
2000.
Is it?
Yeah, this is 2,000. I think I might have a quote
20
on my.
likes. I'm sorry.
20 likes,
Yeah.
100.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, no, that's
I think they-
2,000.
I think that's what the
Yeah.
plan was.
That's awesome.
Maybe 400 feet a year.
I'm mistaken. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, I think.
Phew.
I have the quote on my phone, 19,325.
Yeah,
And
I'm seeing now
that's,
20 lengths of 100 feet. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome. That's great.
So do we want to go ahead contingent upon Basin's approval or? Okay.
I think so. And I'm not sure, what's the timing of, Basin has a different fiscal year than us, so when do we usually get their reimbursement? In June or in December?
Their calendar year,
Yeah, so they're already in the middle of their, or all, 3-4 months into their fiscal year.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if they say, it wasn't in this year's budget, but we still want to do it. Could they approve? I don't know if they can approve next year's. They can commit money from next year's budget, from
I
their
don't know
next
how
year's
their,
budget.
how their reserves, if they have reserve accounts for.
If it's, yeah, that's true. If
I
it's
asked
reserve money,
Sarah
they
that,
could.
and she didn't respond yet about their reserves. I mean, is it possible that if they wanna wait, that they can give us another quote to do just the 11,500?
I'd
Would that be
rather,
worth it, or?
I'd rather we just get it done and hope that they can make it right, and if not, we'll put it in next year's budget for them. I mean, it's only $8,000.
So plan on purchasing it and will be refunded either this year or from next year's budget, is that what you're saying?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Should we be fine with that?
Larissa?
That way we get it,
Right, yeah, that,
get the
I
process
think
moving.
this, yeah.
okay, wonderful. So we have an officers meeting tomorrow at the fire department, so I could bring that information to them and kind of let them know that we're thinking about, we'll just go ahead and get it ordered. And
Yeah. Great.
If that sounds good with
Yeah, we need a
everyone?
motion to that.
Okay.
We need a motion to that effect. And if somebody wanted to reach out to Chuck Martell, the chair of the Basin Select Board, just say, hope we can make this work. Might not hurt. Jared or whoever. I mean, they're have always been supportive of the fire department.
Okay, I'm sorry, what was his name? Chuck Martell?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna write that down.
So a motion, to move forward.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the fire department's purchase of the new, 2,000 feet of the new Megaflow hose as quoted at $19,325.43.
With the hope and expectation.
With
that
the expectation.
it will be split 60-40 with Basin.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Great.
And if things start to get outdated, or we have a date coming when it's outdated, keep us informed,
Okay,
because it's our intent to keep everything usable.
mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys informed and, get the ball rolling
Yeah.
sooner rather than later for
Yep,
anything that
and then
needs
if we could
switched.
plan it
So,
into our budget for the next year or whatever, but yeah,
okay, awesome.
we don't want stuff that's outdated or
Yeah.
non-compliant.
They're
Well,
unsafe.
we appreciate the support and
Well, and at times in the past, the communication hasn't always been great. It goes both ways, so there's no finger pointing there, but it's awkward when something comes at us that we didn't have any heads up about.
yeah,
So it's helpful
absolutely.
to have that line of communication. I think it's been really good. This last budget year was
Yeah.
the
Excellent.
best since I've been here.
That's great.
Great. Well, thanks again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
We'll all be calling you soon.
Yeah. All right.
while the
Okay,
brain
got it.
is on hoses, this is kind of outside of scope, but I just wanted to name that at one point we were talking about a hydrant on Ralston, and I don't think that ever got resolved, but I just want to put that into,
Was it a hydrant or a standpipe over there?
It was a high,
It was
A
a
hydrant.
hydrant in a pond.
Okay,
And we were gonna hear from Kingsbury on it.
Yeah, we never got a quote. I think I
Okay.
checked with them twice, and now that I have communications with one person,
Is that Cody?
Cody, I think I'm supposed to be with him this week. Let me recheck with him on that.
I know that there's so many balls in the air, it's just as my mind is reminded, also that they're my neighbor, so. who owns the pond. So it just occurred to me.
Yeah, it might affect you if you had a fire, right?
It might. I don't know. I don't know if that means I have to like recuse myself from discussions, but
I think you're good.
It doesn't.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
y'all.
so much.
Let's see you around.
Take care.
So moving on, the next item is public records policy. Records and information management policy. We have a draft copy, although we're not ready to act on it.
That's right.
You're still waiting for review from the state archivist's office, right?
Correct. I knew I probably wasn't going to hear before the meeting, because it's a pretty in-depth policy. The record retention table really was time consuming, and I struggled to fully put it together, and I'm hoping with their assistance it's going to be better. I really just wanted to put it here, so if you all had a chance to read it the next week and a half, you can let me know how to help inform a better policy.
I also just wanted to point out, so this essential records inventory that has to be developed within 90 days of adoption of policy.
Mhm.
I don't know how much work that like what sort of time investment that's going to be. If that's a like quick and easy, oh great, we can just throw this together, or what. But I just, when we start the clock on adopting this policy, I want to make sure that we're not setting you up for
I appreciate
having
that.
to do a lot of extra work at a really difficult time. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to put that out there.
I'll say I appreciate that, and I put the 90 days in there. Like first, I started seeing what it would take, which is then how I put 90 days in, because I don't think it's a ludicrous ask.
Okay.
But I did want to. We could also just change it and then just pass them both at the same time, and push it out a month, which is fine as well.
Is 90 days like a statutory
No,
number of days?
no.
Oh, it's just sort of
it's
arbitrary.
it's like somewhere in my research, it was a way that was recommended that you could pass it, and so that this could move forward. But I have no problem, if you all have no problem. Just waiting. I mean, technically, we should have had this years ago.
Yeah. Does the agency provide any suggested like structure, file format?
For
This-
which part?
For like the retention, is it all online? Is there, it's all cloud-based? Do they provide any guidance on that, or is this up to us to figure out how we want to store and organize stuff?
I think a lot of it's up to us. And I mean, of course, we have a server, I mean, because every town's so unique and different. As we move to the cloud, what does that mean? Like I said, I mean, this is definitely a draft policy, but I think it's getting closer. And a lot of this wording is based on what BSARA recommends. And the template, which is what I used, had a lot in it.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. It's just, it's a ton of work. And while we're in transition to the cloud with the new, what's the name, Rural Solutions, like it's actually a good time to like think about like where and how do we want to put all this stuff and organize it.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I've talked to most of the staff in the town to say like, how do you do this? And Jennifer's like, well, this is what I do, my stuff. And then, JB is separate, the planning and zoning, and we all do things the way we do it. But if we had it in one place and we understood what it looked like, that would obviously be safer. Because I don't know what JB does or how we maintain. And yeah, I mean, I think this is a good policy, and I'm looking forward to passing and then us understanding it really well.
Well, as evidenced by how challenging it's been, I think, York, for you to find some of the things that you've looked for.
That is a good example.
I was gonna say, I feel like that it ultimately is making less work for future, hopefully.
Yeah, as long as it can be comprehensible, so it's actionable, which would be great. And this, just for the public record, this came to light when we were talking about cameras, and it's recommended you have this policy for cameras, and of course we have 3 cameras on site for our elections, the front door, back door, and the safe. And now we have a new camera on Meadow Road Bridge. And actually, we have 2 cameras, which I was not aware of, which currently aren't working, that the water system has at the
Yeah, up to well.
well.
Isn't
So,
there a camera here? On the
yeah,
door?
there's 3 here. So at any rate, if anyone has any comments or want to look at it and make it better, please let me know.
Are you thinking if you hear back, it'll be on our next meeting's agenda?
I think it can be, yeah, if you all are ready for that. I mean, again, I'll just, I leave Thursday morning and I don't get back till the day before our next meeting. So we'll see what the next meeting looks like.
You already sent me the draft agenda.
I know, I'm on it.
And again, this is a policy, right? So if there are things that we need to change after we adopt it, it's not like we don't have to wait.
Yeah.
That's right.
So,
No, I appreciate, that we're not taking action today, but I talked to you today and you said we didn't need to take action. I didn't read it.
Yeah.
But I will before the next-
Pass on
it's
this.
really good bedtime reading.
It's pretty-
If you're having trouble
Yeah, sure,
falling
Yeah.
asleep.
we'll go with that.
Okay,
That's
so
that.
moving on, our NIMRIC to the cloud, you provided a pretty detailed overview in your report, and your recommendation is that we authorize the migration of our NIMRIC to cloud-based data storage. It will cost us $750 to set that up with a $120 per month fee. And you're suggesting that we discontinue the NIMRIC disaster recovery contract upon completion of this transition. That's because that is being duplicated by rural solutions, right?
Ish, duplicated, yeah. I mean, the real essence of the snapshot is being duplicated. Part of NEMRIC's disaster recovery is also them bringing computers in and helping bring us back. It's kind of like an insurance policy. That would not be included in rural solutions, but we, to my understanding, have never used the disaster recovery. So if it happened, there maybe would be a one-time fee of rural solutions helping us come back, but we also have insurance through
And
passive.
now that everything will be cloud-based, we're not gonna be, our data is not gonna be lost in a fire.
That's right. I mean, NEMRIC recommends that we keep disaster recovery because it gives you a snapshot. So let's say 2 months down the road, you're like, oh, what happened on this day and who did this? Cloud-based doesn't
Yeah.
give you that information. The snapshot gives you that information because it's what happened on that day. But my understanding is, and I tried to press Rural Solutions in every way I could think of asking a question, that they were doing that anyway, and they started doing that without me even knowing 3 weeks ago.
Right, you said they currently maintain continuous offsite cloud backup of our server, including daily snapshots of our
Correct.
environment.
And that would save us $2,000 a year,
And that
which
would-
would more than offset the,
That's right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and I don't know, I'll, if you all want to move forward with getting rid of disaster recovery, the select board signed in the warrant 2 weeks ago, I think, 1,200 of it, because there's two. There was another 800 or so, because there's 2 invoices for disaster recovery. The 800 is for the assessor's office. I did not include that in the warrant tonight, based on how you want to move.
So
forward.
have we already,
We paid
signed
the
and
first
paid?
1,200, and I'll reach out to.
so we
them
have a
and see.
contract with them through,
I don't know. They may reimburse 11 months of it potentially. And I'll ask them based on how we proceed tonight. But the 800, I probably just won't pay after I relay the information to them.
well, and you're saying we'll discontinue after the transition. What's the timing of that? So we could, since we paid a portion, we can not cancel it yet.
We paid for the NEMRIC of the town office
Okay.
about 2 weeks ago. It's possible we could refund it for 11 months of it. And now that I know what I know, I think that would be fine. I mean, as I want to clarify with them if they still keep that information, because Rural Solutions just started taking that snapshot this past month.
yeah, we should definitely clarify that.
So I'd like to make sure that we don't lose what we've already paid for, and I suspect that's the case, but I think that's the most important piece. Because Rural Solutions only has that month-ish of information.
Do you know, slightly different track, but is the NEMRIC, that software, is that hosted, will that be hosted in the cloud too, or is that on a local server, or
Right now, it's our server, our local server.
will that change with
That
the?
will change. This right here, this 750 will move that to the cloud completely. So it would really be it's the really most important first piece of transitioning to the cloud. is transition Nemrick to the cloud. And once that's done, transition to the cloud will actually be pretty easy. Because already, actually, Rural Solutions already keeping a backup of our whole server in the cloud.
But once the NEMRAC software is kind of operating in the cloud there, the need for them to physically come here and restore servers and local computers, like, that goes away.
I would think that's
That's the-
probably right.
Primary benefit, I think, of moving to the cloud is we don't have to, we're not at that same risk.
That's fair.
I'm generally supportive of this. Sounds like you have more information to find out and then when you talk to Rural Solutions and possibly Nemrick. Is there, like, what's the disaster scenario? What's the worst that could happen with this transition? Like, always think of worst case scenarios. I'm just curious if they're, right now it sounds, the worst case is we have an event and Nemrick would come and restore all our computers and servers and data based on that snapshot. If the same thing happened now, is it basically the same thing except it comes from the cloud? And,
That's my understanding.
okay.
Do you wanna just, it sounds like there may be some lingering questions as far as how it would work. What if we were to approve the transfer to the cloud, the whole NIMRIC thing, and hold off on the canceling the disaster until we have a really solid understanding?
I think that's fine. And the other option is, we've already paid, we already
That's
paid
what I'm-
them.
Yeah.
And then the other invoice is already signed, actually. I just haven't included it in the warrant. And we could do 1 year based on if they're like, well, if they really recommend for this first year, during this first year transition, why Rural Solutions builds their cloud. Because once we're a year out, that's pretty good.
So you'd have overlap.
So we'd have overlap, which may be fine. I mean, and then moving forward, saving that 2,000, I think would probably be pretty smart.
Yeah.
I agree.
That might be a good.
Yeah.
But then for past years, if we ever need to go back, I mean,
I
would
don't
we
think
want
have
to go back to past years?
I mean, everything's been audited for the
Yeah,
year
I think
before.
that's
I don't,
Yeah.
I think the risk is
Proven
pretty low.
Okay.
I mean, the risk is low anyway. Because we have such a small office, I think if we had a really big office where there are multiple people coding multiple things, I'm the only person that codes anything. So the risk is lower for our office, but of course there's risk. But I think that's, if you want me to include that, I can try to find answers to the questions. And then based on that, if you just want to include that in the next warrant, then we have 1 more year of DR.
Why don't we do that? Yeah,
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Okay.
And we can, that way we'll have it up and running, we'll really be comfortable with Rural Solutions hopefully, and we'll know what they can provide.
Okay, I think that's a good
So
compromise.
a motion to authorize the migration of NIMRIC to the cloud with a one-time setup cost of $750 and estimated $120 per month.
So move.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, great. I don't want, not necessarily fossil fuel, but with a backup that will burn something, or all heat pumps, which would also have a backup of a generator. No matter what, we're gonna have a generator backup.
I mean, we could do
But
better.
the generator would have to
option
be
is-
more substantial if
Yeah.
it's all.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the option is still to go better. I mean, that is an option. They just heavily recommended against that.
Against it.
A battery backup instead of a generator.
Their concern was that it wouldn't provide us with a week plus of backup.
Yeah, didn't they say 24 hours?
Yeah, I'm not sure, and the technology's changing.
I mean, I'm starting up conversations with Efficiency Vermont, which will, I think.
That was gonna be my next question.
Which will help inform, you know, and Breadloaf, I talked to Breadloaf and they said they're happy to work with Efficiency Vermont. I mean, so there's two things. There's the hybrid or full electric commercial, or there's two electric, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And one is $657 per square foot, one is $971 per square foot-ish.
It
And then
seems like that's the commercial one is the robust one
Yeah.
that a facility like this would need.
I think it has less units also, so it would take up less space, which I think would make the road crew happy. And I think battery backups are possible, and the reason I bring up Efficiency Vermont is if there's an interest in looking at that, we could talk to the solar company and say, is there a way to, you know, automatically have the batteries backed up first from the solar? I suspect that's possible. And then also, you know, just make sure that we come up with a plan that the road crew will really benefit from.
Just looking through all my emails, we had a meeting this week that was postponed with Breadloaf.
That's great.
So when do they need a decision? Because I think they
We're-
can move ahead with, if we know we're gonna do a heat pump as part of the hybrid, they can go ahead and design that portion of the system.
So our meeting's Wednesday
It is still.
at 2:00. Oh, wait,
I thought-
did that
I thought
change?
she-
Is that the one
I thought
change?
they
I thought she canceled
But it
it.
was on the 17th, right?
I'm sorry, you might be right.
No, it's,
It was on the 15th. I may not have changed it in my calendar. I can look
I
that.
have it on the 28th.
And have you talked?
That's right,
to-
you're right. Thank you.
Okay.
Have you or Breadloaf, did they know anything about MERP or have talked to them, the municipal energy? Sorry, I had it just up right now. Municipal Energy Resilience Program.
No.
Um,
If you email it to me, I mean, I have my notes now, but that'd be, I mean, right now I talked to Ann with Breadloaf several days ago about changing the meeting time and day, and they changed it because they really want to be efficient and they're not where they wanted to be. They said they pressed, again, we're not behind schedule, they're ahead of schedule, but they were to be more prepared for our next meeting. They were moving forward with the hybrid system based on how we talked last, but if the select board really wants to move forward with the full electrification, I'll let Anna know tomorrow so they can plan that. I think we're okay.
Yeah, essentially what it looks like is we can get, there are some planning grants, they do a free energy resilience assessment. And there's up to $500,000 of implementation grants.
For new builds.
So I'm reading this paragraph right now. Does MERP cover new construction? In general, no. The MERP is only focused on existing building renovations. This is partly because Act 172 requires that a covered municipality house only be eligible for an implementation grant if an assessment of its buildings and facilities has been conducted pursuant to Section 2 of this Act. An assessment can't be conducted on a building that does not exist. However, in instances where a covered municipality is replacing an existing municipally owned building because of a poor return on investment, or if the building is no longer viable, it will be considered for the up to $500,000 implementation grant on a case-by-case basis to fund specific energy resilience measures in the new building.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, I expect a call back from Efficiency Vermont tomorrow, honestly, because that's what they said. And I'll talk to them about MERP and look into it. I mean, the full electrification in the end is when you're building a huge building, the upfront cost is real, but it's not that much, in my opinion. But working towards full electrification is a goal.
Yep.
In my opinion.
I have a similar point.
In these FAQs, which were updated last week, actually, Efficiency of Vermont may have programs that are on point for this project. But this has a paragraph of how are the building energy resilience assessments with MERP different from Efficiency Vermont's walkthroughs. Efficiency Vermont walkthroughs do not qualify as assessments to receive an implementation grant. Anyway, I'll send you this whole FAQs and website.
So we're not at the point of making a decision other than we're definitely hybrid or full electrification.
I think if the select board feels really strongly about one way, I think that the sooner they know, the better. but I don't think it's a game changer in terms of holding up our timeline, no. And again, with the generator versus battery, if there was a strong feeling, then we could start looking into talking to the solar company, and Efficiency Vermont, et cetera, and maybe we're, I'm saying we want to go full electrification because it goes along with the values of Waitsfield and at least previously what DOE and EPA were looking at as goals.
And these operating costs, do we know what, like when they were generated and what oil price and propane?
These are the recent ones from last month. So
Pre-war?
So it was pre-war, and what's funny is I first actually didn't want to give them the information on the propane, and because to me I was like, I don't get it. We're building a garage that's gonna last for decades, but Chach made a point that was valid, and so we gave them all the information. So these are all the current prices in Waitsfield.
That, I question the propane, everything I looked at was more like $3.79, not $1.79.
These were, that's what we're paying. Our propane bills are very low. Right? We must get some kind of special rate. Fred and I talked about it after the general weight house was filled.
That's,
I'm paying more than that. I don't use a lot, but.
yeah,
we do
I mean,
have
that's a phenomenal rate, whether that rate holds given.
To me, it means it's almost meaningless.
Yeah,
the
either
rate.
way, the volatility is an issue. One thing in support of your, like, we should think long-term is I think that looking at their analysis, it's easy to say, oh my God, it's 5 times as much. When you're comparing it against the $7,500 for the Modine or whatever, that seems really low and probably doesn't include installation and all that stuff. But more importantly, I think it's an added $50,000 to go full electric. Putting that in the context of what could be a $5 million building, it's a very small percentage of the overall project cost. And when you're investing on 50-year infrastructure, I think it's worth taking that longer term look. This building will be financed through a bond of some sort, assuming that's like the state revolving fund money, that's long-term money, it's really cheap. At current state interest rates, that difference of maybe 50 grand would be like $2,000 a year or something of added cost to eliminate the carbon footprint of that system. Like,
It seems like it would be half that over 30 years.
yeah, and the volatility of fuel prices and other benefits, it would, in that context, to me, it makes more sense than just looking at, oh my God, it costs 5 times as much.
It's a
Again,
little
in the context of a $5 million building that's going to be financed with very cheap long-term state money, the difference is small. It's not nothing, and we absolutely need to make a responsible decision. But to me, in that context, it's an easier decision to make.
I agree with that 100%. And in both option 2 and option 3, the backup generator.
Yeah.
What are the fuel options for generator? Is that also potentially pellets in option 3?
And no, nobody said that a generator was pellet. It's oil or propane. And I suspect we do propane, just based on what the town currently does.
Yeah, I mean, I agree as well on the long-term, taking a long-term technology. I also, though, want to make sure that the building is there and up and running in an emergency. That, there's no, I worry about batteries. I worry just not having something that's definite. And I remember, we haven't had a long-term emergency, but I do remember, was it 97 or so in the ice storm? The islands were out of power for like 10 days. And that could happen pretty easily.
And also some of the equipment that they use to repair the machinery with, like the welder must be a high amperage use. I don't know the battery system would support it. So yeah, generators.
I'll also send you, there's a financial assistance program that the state runs with grants for municipalities for the installation, repair, or upgrade to advanced wood heating systems, so could potentially be an option
If that includes pellet.
if we are installing a pellet system. It's $50,000 for installations of new systems, a 1-to-1 match. So,
I haven't been part of the meetings, but I think it sounds like it's clear that we want to go radiant slab, which is safer and way more.
It's the number one
Effective.
most important thing for Charlie and Josh,
Right.
Commissioner Road Foreman.
So that right there sounds like the kind of that cheapest unit, the unit heaters and like heat heaters don't meet that
Criteria.
criteria.
I think everybody in the room dismissed that immediately.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
so we can focus in on option 2 and option 3, I think.
Agreed.
So how do we,
It's up to you, if the select board, like, if you guys feel strongly that strongly enough that, we're erring on the side of full electrification for at least the heating, then I think it'd be good to let Red Love know so they can start working those numbers, because right now they're working on hybrid type engineering.
with a pellet plant?
With the pellet,
Yeah.
I think
Is
that would be the ask.
Are we far enough on that they would be able to provide that context of a preliminary cost estimate or something for the whole project?
For the whole project period, like the $5 million project?
Whatever it is, could be, hopefully it's
I
less than
think
that,
the
but-
goal is next week, 2 weeks from now, that they're gonna be able to have prices for everything. Or the preliminary
Okay.
idea was, that's why they pushed it out a week, yeah.
And I was gonna ask, I didn't see a operating cost for option 2.
They didn't have it.
Okay.
It was not part of what they provided. And I'm not sure why, I don't know if it's because the hybrid could be pellet, could be wood, could be oil, could be propane, and I'm not sure why it wasn't.
Because it would seem if we're decided on radiant and are giving them that direction and it's either gonna be hybrid or all electric, like that's a fairly narrow
I think
range
so.
of options
Yeah.
that it doesn't feel like we need to be pushed into like, we need to make a decision today.
I agree. The only reason,
I'd
Brian
rather-
wanted to bring it to the select board a couple weeks ago, and I waited till Brian came back. And the only other reason I say is because when I talked to Anna last week about changing the dates, she said, you guys asked for this, do you know which direction the select board wants to go? I said, I don't know. Said, well, right now we're working on the hybrid thought, and that's what we're moving forward with the numbers. And if you know that they are likely to change, just let us know.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's
Just
not-
ask them for both numbers, both analysis, both operating costs, estimates.
Yeah, my guess is, and this is not a criticism in any way, that Charlie and Josh wanted the kind of the security of the hybrid, having a pellet boiler.
They wanted the security of propane.
And I think we've drawn that line already.
Did we skip Main Street cleaning? Did we cover Main Street?
Oh, we did, sorry, yes, okay, Main Street.
I'm sorry, I just noticed.
No, I appreciate
We've copied around. Do you want me to just touch on it? or do you
Yeah,
wanna-
yeah.
I think essentially, I've talked to Michelle Redmond, we've emailed and talked on the phone. They're working on getting a sweeper for this year, but if you remember, last year was the third year V-Trans did not sweep, and the town paid for sweeping of Main Street. It was better than it was, after they swept, it was better than before, but it wasn't great. There's a lot of accumulation of debris, especially along where the curbing is, at 3 inches.
I gotta admit, we got a great
Right.
deal on the sweeping, but I was pretty disappointed that there was so much buildup that we didn't anticipate it would be that bad.
I think I'm a little skeptical if V-Trans is gonna be able to take this on. I'm hopeful. I really tried to press Michelle Redmond to see if there's a timeline we can get. She did say that if they do get a sweeper and they can take Waitsfield on, that if they came out and like, oh, the debris along the curbing is really bad, we should consider scraping and shoveling. Charlie Goodman is also skeptical. He thinks that we should consider getting a quote from Kingsbury. He said the road crew just can't take that work on. I did message Cody last week with Kingsbury, and he was out and said he'd get back to me this week, just so I could maybe get a quote. I just thought it might be good to have an idea of direction, so, because it's pretty bad.
And what was the reason for V-Trans not sweeping the last 3 years? Was it also lack of sweeping contract or?
They had, according to Michelle, they had 2 contractors sweeping all the roads, and they never got to Waitsfield.
Well, it'll be on the top of the list this year.
You would think so, maybe.
Does that create a safety issue, or is it a maintenance of the roadway?
I think with all the bikers, and that's what I
Yeah,
wrote.
definitely
My
bikers.
email to Michelle, I said, during the summer, you can barely look out and not see a biker in front of my office.
I worry about, it's a question for Josh, are we managing our storm drains too? There's a lot of debris going into those.
I've cleared the storm drains.
You've cleared the storm drains?
I have. I mean, I've gone out there with shovels.
You shouldn't have to do that.
Well,
We need to,
You can- you can
one of our
write-
upcoming meetings, we're talking about our work plan.
everyone can write V-Trans, everyone can write V-Trans and tell them how they feel about Route 100 and how we could do better.
Well, it doesn't hurt to get a quote.
Okay, yep.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, and we did not put it in the budget for 27 either, and I kind of kicked myself for that, just knowing, but we shouldn't have to either.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to, let you know that Main Street, I'm skeptical if it's gonna be swept, or scraped and shoveled by V-Trans, and I personally think it's pretty important work, and it's dangerous in its current condition.
And the Path Association did try to do it with volunteers, and it was a lot of work and a lot of hassle, and they got a very small patch done in a day. And it's not the type of thing you can do with
You
just
need
people
heavy
going out with
equipment.
shovels.
Yeah, it'd be a big job. So
So we get a
I
quote.
just wanted to touch on it.
Move forward.
Okay.
So now Meadow Road Bridge update.
There's not much right now. I included the D&K, Du Bois King, load rating memo again, which I included 2 weeks ago. It's what we talked about 2 weeks ago. It's not great. I just wanted to say that I talked to FEMA this week. We had a good meeting, mostly about the 2 culverts, which we'll touch on in another meeting. But they did agree again to say if the inspection can show that post-flooding, that post-flooding inspection clearly shows that above and beyond the decking, that they've already agreed as part of the detour caused more harm to the bridge. If another inspection can say that beyond that decking, the bridge was harmed from that detour, that they would consider adding that to the scope of the FEMA project. And we, thanks to Ellis Peel, did acquire the 2022 inspection report, and D&K now has that, and they're gonna review it and compare it and see if they can say, oh, undoubtedly, yes or no. And that will help inform moving forward. And, yeah, go ahead.
It's really surprised me was that the superstructure and overall bridge condition were poor and not serious.
This
But-
year.
But did
This
you
year, oh yes, it's not getting better.
But did you see,
Not
where did they called the deck rating fair?
I know.
And if the.
Have you
deck
driven over
rating-
Yeah,
If
that's
the deck
fair.
rating is fair, imagine what
Yes.
poor means.
That was December 2024, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, this is also, I actually don't know, because this is also what the D&K report said. Now, whether
You
they
say in your
just
current
pulled that,
condition paragraph that, the
yes, December
V-Trans rating was
2024.
December 2024.
But I think they referenced it in the D&Ks also. But now it's been a few weeks since I read the D&K one.
So so we can, D&K is gonna get back to us to
Yes.
see if they can document that flood damage resulted in damage. I did go over it again today. Fred suggested I do. We should get something, we should fill those potholes. We need to do something. It's pretty bad. I mean, it's just,
It's continuous.
yeah,
Boom,
it's,
boom, boom. I don't know if you could put stay mat down across the whole thing or put a ribbon of tar or asphalt across it. Patching individual holes you're gonna end up doing that anyway. Because it is tough, and reroute, some of it's getting really thin. It's not gonna be long before it breaks, and you're gonna be puncturing tires.
Ask Josh or Charlie if they can just do, I mean, we're not gonna, this is not a permanent fix by any stretch, but just something to get us through the summer.
Remedial.
And again, FEMA has said that part of the project that they will is that if we identify the bridge and we're like, we can't rehab this, it's not fixable, it's not worth the cost, and we need to start engineering and planning and bonding for a new bridge, FEMA will help cover the decking.
Of the new
Again, I
bridge.
think there's a risk that people would see it and say, oh, the deck, it's been fixed and we can just go
Well,
to
we
the
know
bridge.
better.
Well, we do, but there are trucks currently using it,
Oh,
which I can say because now we have a camera on it.
you caught one today.
I did.
I did too. Yeah. But I really think that bridge is toast. Looking at this report and previous reports, I hate putting a lot of money into that bridge.
Yeah.
For any,
And Fred, did you talk to Miles?
I did.
Do you want to just?
I
touch on
sure
it?
would. He has an idea where he can build a covered bridge to put in there. That some sort of grant or program that he's aware of, where it'll be a teaching type program to teach people how to build covered bridges, post and beam and all that good stuff.
He has a new nonprofit that he established recently, that is who would apply for this grant.
Okay, apply for the grant. That's great. And of what I understand, it'd come in at a lesser price than a concrete and steel bridge. Now,
With the grant.
with the grant, that's right, with the grant. Some concern about weight. Well, I talked to him the other day and he says this covered bridge would be rated at 50,000 pounds. I got hold of Jared Young and asked him what's the heaviest truck they have, and it happens to be their tanker truck at 53,000 pounds. So, we're there. The opening will just have to be big enough so that the ag vehicles can get through.
My original conversation with Miles, he said 14 feet.
Okay. Okay, so it's bigger than the old one, but that's okay. I think that the idea of having a covered bridge in that location,
Amazing.
people coming down Route 100, look across down there and see that covered bridge, that would be so cool.
And I've got to wonder if the technology, I understand, I remember a couple of years ago when there was a lot of the Northern Forest Research Center was promoting a new technology where basically you could make wooden laminate, a wood product that had that was like a steel girder.
Yep.
It had
Yep.
the same load
Material
bearing capacity.
Of steel.
They
Yeah.
call it.
But actually
Advanced timber material.
Exactly, yes.
But actually, in a fire, it is better than steel. Because steel will start to lose its strength and sag, and where a laminated beam will not. I would love to see us explore the possibilities of putting a covered bridge across Meadow Road.
If it's big enough for
Across
trucks,
Meadow.
well, means,
Yeah.
And I'll add
I'm
Charlie.
certainly open to it.
Charlie Goodman was giddy at the idea.
Well,
Imagine Charlie Goodman being giddy.
I am. I
Me
mean,
too.
I think that would look so tremendous. People coming into the valley, look down there and see a covered bridge and Mount Waitsfield in the background and old set of buildings in between.
It's also, it's interesting that, when was the Bridge Street Bridge, the original covered bridge? That's 200 years old or something, right?
No,
Not quite.
2033, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
And in 2033, it would be
1833.
But it's 100 or more years older than the current Meadow Road Bridge that's failed.
That's fine.
What does that tell you?
1950 something.
Could be a good investment.
That's a good point.
so we should be in touch with Miles and say we're going over.
I think anyone in the
Yeah.
community that's excited about it, part of the reason Miles and I talked about it the first time was he's like, this is gonna need major community engagement, which I agree with. This would be a huge grant. And so anyone that's excited about it, recommend sending a letter. You'd send a letter to myself or Fred, and we'll make sure we start compiling these letters.
And is that current program, the application deadline that's?
That would,
later
well,
this week?
they have a round in the fall.
What's the name of the program?
I think it's the Timber for Transit with Northern Borders
Yep.
Regional Commission.
Got it.
And Dave, I've had a lot of conversations
Great, yeah,
with
no,
NRC.
thank you for following up with them.
And I have a hard time, just having done a lot of community development grant work, of seeing a more competitive project. It would be a showpiece and replacing
Oh,
concrete bridge on
Yeah,
that river.
as another example, like, this weekend was the triathlon, and that bridge was blowing out my phone because now there's a camera there, and the number of bicyclists. And,
Oh my God.
I mean, that's
They
the
were
type
going
of
over
stuff
that?
that, it was awesome. That's the type of stuff that makes grants really competitive, is, this is gonna really
But the
get
fact
back.
that they had to ride their bikes over that.
I don't think it's not where the course was.
Okay,
It's
good.
just, that's where they got out of the water.
Yeah, oh, yeah, just past that, yeah, I think,
just prior.
right.
Yeah. Whatever we can do to advance this.
Yeah, one,
You can put me down for project manager or whatever.
if Lawson's ends up, I think there was something in your package about Lawson's offering to do a fundraiser or somebody doing.
American flatbread for the
American
cover
flatbread.
bridge.
There would be a great opportunity to like have a postcard and ask everybody to write out their letter of support.
Speaking of covered bridges,
That's a great idea.
Seriously, like we get
What's it called? When American flatbread once a month, bake for,
benefit.
Benefit.
for benefit.
They do it during the shoulder season. And it's,
Okay.
it's basically, they do it, and it helps generate business for them, and and they're, community minded.
Yeah, so the one in May, I think, and I wasn't able to talk to George, I was in a meeting, but George came in and talked to JB, and now we're moving to Covered Bridge, but talked to JB and said that he really wanted to do it, was planning on doing it in May.
It's not huge money, but it's helpful, and I think using it as outreach would be
Great
really
idea.
great idea.
Yeah.
So,
moving on
to the covered bridge.
Oh, if you need pictures of the old covered bridge to promote the new covered bridge, I've got such.
Yes.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That would be
Yeah.
great.
You brought that one in.
I'm sorry?
You brought one in a year ago or something. That
Yeah.
was amazing.
Covered
What do you-
bridge.
What do you want me, what do you want me to say? I think the most important part is that right now Charlie Goodman and I are working on a plan to, thanks on our conversations with Kai. I'm taking out 2 boards from each side and inviting contractors to come and look at underneath where the joists are, to get a better picture. Partially just to help inform, but also to help inform the quote. Kai is a little concerned that there might be some more rot than Miles found, as in the joists are like this, and then there's the runners and the joists sit on top of it. Kai is a little concerned that some of these long runners might have some rot. Kai doesn't feel like he would have the capacity to take on the project if that's the case. But if we pick up these 2, then maybe that will alleviate that concern. Charlie Goodman wanted to do it the first week in May, but Brian and I talked, and Brian would really like to do it sooner, so we may look at doing it as soon as next week.
But my concern is, I think it needs to be fixed pronto, and I don't wanna wait until the fall, I don't wanna do it over foliage or in the summer, and if we could get somebody in there fast to do it in May, and the first half of June, we'd be better off for everybody. That's my opinion.
yeah, the 4th of July this year is gonna be bonkers.
Yeah, and I just, the Mad Marathon, running through the covered bridge is a big part of their program.
Mhm.
Well, so I'll talk to Charlie and see if we can.
We did 15 years ago, 10 years ago, when all of the structural, we didn't do anything to the bridge itself, but all the abutments and curbing and all that was done. We also separated the walkway, which was falling off the bridge, and supported that. So I think the walkway could still remain open if the bridge was being done.
I suspect that's right. And Kai and I actually figured out a lot about, we were confused about some of the structure, and then Kai went back again. Kai's visited 3 or 4 times, and now he understands better of what's happening.
like your summary, can the immediate repair and the potential shoring up of the weight limit be separated, or are they can they both be done, or?
I think because the emergency repair has to happen as soon as possible.
that's what I-
Probably not, but so in short, NBRC, the Timber for Transit, I've had communications back with them, back and forth. They think it would be a great project, which I agree with. To basically first do a scoping study, a concept study of what it would take to up the weight capacity up the covered bridge, which there's been some interest here in the select board, and then move on to a phase 2 that maybe Timber for Transit would fund those beams. The Pine Brook Bridge can hold 10 tons, and that has steel underneath, but this advanced timber probably be similar. The only caveat to that is if we're looking at doing a metal covered bridge,
Right, you probably do one.
we'd have to
Yeah.
pick which one we're doing.
That makes sense.
Oh, I can guess.
So, but that is an option, and that would be the fall potentially application period, which we'd start preparing soon.
I think we need to get the bridge fixed for this year.
Yeah, and to finish that point about grants, I'm working on 2 V-Trans structure grants. I don't actually know what I'm gonna apply for, but it's heavily recommended that we put in 2 applications, one for a bigger project, one for maybe a smaller project. By smaller, I mean $60,000 to $90,000. I've talked to Josh and Charlie about that, I haven't received word back. Both of the NBRC and the structures grant wouldn't work for the covered bridge because it's too much of a need for an emergency repair. But I did try to see if that was possible.
Well, we're gonna have to build a new metal road bridge. I think that it's just based on what little I've heard, that seems to be a real good match for the Northern Borders grant.
Yeah,
It would be amazing, yeah. And then maybe, and then in terms of the weight capacity of the village covered bridge, that would be something we'd have to, the select board wants to do that, look into that. In another
That would be
way.
a nice to have, that's not a need to have.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once the beams are redone to joist, it's gonna be stronger.
But I think your memo said we have a quote from Miles that we may not want to talk about in open session, but because I think he was going to provide, like, if I can take as much time as I want, it would cost X. If I have to do an emergency, it would cost Y.
Yeah.
But I think we're still under the obligation to get separate quotes, additional quotes for the procurement policy.
If firms are willing to provide them, yeah.
Unless we declare this an emergency.
So we can move, Charlie thought we could move the closing the bridge and inviting contractors in to next week.
He said he couldn't be there, I know I couldn't be there. Now, the next week, the last week of April, we could consider, which is a week sooner.
Why don't we do that?
Then maybe,
That gives
that'll
us,
give
that
Josh
gives
an
us
extra week to
some
plan.
business days to really get people
Yeah.
locked in to come.
And I've talked to several contractors, there's still a couple more that I just heard about. So I'll reach out to as many as I can, and then I'll talk to Charlie about the last week in April.
Okay.
And then, of course, that's letting everyone know that the bridge will be closed for, it may even be upwards of 5 hours, because I suspect it will take a couple hours at least to remove those deck boards.
Yeah.
But this is important.
Then you can do it, after the morning commute.
Yeah, if it was up to Josh, he'd be removing boards at
At
5
4
in the morning.
yeah.
That's, he literally said that this morning. He's like, it'd be great if contractors could do it at 6 in the morning. I'm like,
So assuming it will be the last week of April, if we can have, so it gets in the paper next week
yeah, okay.
and a post on the website.
Yep.
Just to let people know.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks for saying that.
So let me summarize.
Okay.
We have 2 bridges going over the Mad River that the experts think we should close. And the 3rd bridge, Trombley Bridge, according to the latest V-Trans inspection report, is missing bolts. That isn't a pretty picture.
Do we have or can we do an action plan for the bolts?
Yes. I don't know how to do it, but
Right.
yes, we can do it.
I don't know what bolts they are.
Do you want me, I will look into it and then get back to everyone.
I assume they're important bolts.
Hashtag all bolts are important.
Yes, I'm happy to look into what that means, because I know nothing, just like I knew nothing about DNS until last week. And so I
So
will,
much learning.
But you do far much more than you ever wanted to.
I will try to learn about bolts.
We're in fine shape.
It's not infrastructure week, it's
They're done.
infrastructure year.
No, but I just
We do
Googled
have
it and
a,
they've done 30 bridges in New England.
who's that?
Wright Construction Company in Mount Holly.
They do bolt replacement.
No, they do covered bridge
Oh.
repair all around New England.
And a lot of it, I think, would be timeline.
Yeah.
You know, if someone can come forward and be like, yeah, we can do this mid-May, like Kai, I think probably could. That would be really great.
That's assuming that the scope is
Yeah.
That's correct.
sort of limited the way that, okay.
When the covered bridge in town was done before, when did we do that? Back in the 70s?
73.
73? It was
Charlie Goodman, I think that might be when the joists were replaced.
That would be a good guess, because they did a very extensive job and they put in those knee braces.
But if those joists made it that long, with the wood that Miles says was not the right wood to use, without a drip edge, I'd say this next joist replacement's gonna last well past all of our lives.
I won't have to worry about it, okay. The
So
company
that
that
was, the
did,
last time was 73. That was when the town voted whether to
Tear it
replace it,
down.
right?
that's when they wanted to
Oh,
tear
to
it.
just like tear it down and
Yeah.
replace it with something else?
Yeah, and put a light out on 100. That was the big thing. And that-
Really?
Oh, yeah,
It's
take
the
that
same.
bridge down, put in a nice
And I
steel
think
and
the-
concrete bridge.
Was the fire
put it-
station the same year? Sorry, go
Pretty
ahead.
close, pretty close.
Okay, I
And
thought
then
it was
put a
the-
light out on Route 100. That's what everybody, a lot of people wanted. And that came real close to happening. But the company that did that work then was from New Hampshire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, began with C, I think. Yeah, the guy came over. And that's when those knee braces were put in.
What are the knee braces?
At the top, where the 8x8 comes over, I guess the 10x10's over and comes down. It's that piece of wood that is curved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's actually made out of a stump. They actually dig up a stump
Come on.
in order to get the root and then the trunk to make that knee brace out of. It's a old wooden ship technique,
Awesome.
framing technique. And that's when those were put in.
That's-
Because before it was racking. The covered bridge was starting to rack.
That makes sense.
And they put those in and it brought it back. But the company that did it was from over in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Of course, that was 73. They might be out of business by now.
All right, that gives me direction. Thank you.
Okay, so then we have DNS authority for the town of Waitsfield. And York, you promised me that this could be a quick item.
I'm not even gonna talk. You said you got it.
So we will switch the management of our DNS, our domain name system, from EcoPixel to World Solutions, which makes sense from your perspective as part of our overall cybersecurity management operation. EcoPixel will still manage our webpage.
Correct.
And this caused a little bit of heartburn between EcoPixel and World Solutions in the town.
It was a great Easter weekend.
Eco-piscal?
EcoPixel.
They
were.
They were eco-pixeled.
But from your perspective, this just makes the best sense.
I would not have known that before I did all the research, but based on my research and talking to a few people that know a lot more than I do, they all agreed that the MSP, which for us is Rural Solutions, being the domain administrator, is ideal. And if the select board so chooses, then I will work on how I'm going to communicate that with EcoPixel.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
You have no idea.
Any questions?
Have fun.
Is there a motion to approve the directing York to change our DNS provider to Rural Solutions from EcoPixel?
I'd make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Good luck.
Yep, it'll be fine.
That's it. Consent agenda? Is there a motion?
I would so move that we pass the consent agenda.
Second?
Yes, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's awkward that I would have abstained from the minutes, but I'll approve the warrant, because I wasn't at the meeting. It's fine. Any other town administrator report?
In short, I'm gonna go to the roundtable about the municipal roads program on Wednesday. There's a lot of good action happening with that. We're really, really fortunate that Chad moved in to town. And he is the person for the MRG road program, grants and aid, et cetera. And he's completely redone their mapping tool and had a really great meeting with Josh Rogers, the road foreman, and myself. And it alleviated a lot of tension between the grants and aid program and the road crew, which is gonna really allow the road crew to take on more projects that they think are the most important. So that, I just want to highlight that. And also that Chad wrote back the next day, and I included the quote in the town administrator report of just how impressed he was with Josh and the road crew. Josh knows a lot, and it was very clear.
And is Josh, is he more supportive of this program now?
He was pretty happy as he can be. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be really good for every town in Vermont, to be able to do the projects that the road crews know are the most important. And I just wanna stress again, having Chad here is huge for the town. Like, he's willing to do work for us and help go in the map and help inform the map. Is gonna be a huge asset. I was asked to be on the state and local cybersecurity grant program, which is gonna be awesome. As I put in the administrative report, there's been $11 million already that the state has taken on that they can give out for this grant program, and they've released $355,000.
Are there opportunities for us to take advantage of that?
Big time.
Which grant program, sorry?
It's called the State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program.
What's
And
the,
so
I've got to ask, what's the time commitment?
I think they have meetings once a quarter. So that's that. I went to the Vermont Changemaker Summit on Saturday, so did my partner Aaron. I think your old company ran it.
Yes.
It was honestly really great. I was hoping to meet Becca Ballant and talk to her. I wasn't able to, but she did talk and it was fantastic. She really knows how to rattle up a room.
You know, I've seen her speak in front of many audiences, and she reads the room better than any politician I've ever met.
It was,
She talks to the Rotary different than she talks to that.
Really? It was, her speech was fantastic, but the Secretary of State spoke, the Treasurer of the State spoke, and it was a hard one. It was really a really well-run summit. And I
What they have
included,
for lunch?
what's that?
What they have for lunch?
Pizza. I don't remember what the name of the pizza place was. The traffic ordinance.
There's a reason I asked, but never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, the traffic ordinance draft again is in the meeting packet. I included again to say that we have to sign the contract for Washington County Sheriffs to, I think it's July 1, not June 1. So I just want to make sure it stays on our radar, and if you have a direction of whether you want me to include more of the bridge stuff or just simply do the speed limits. There was some confusion last time, and I was like, oh my gosh, Dave, maybe we did pass it, but we did not.
Okay.
We did, yeah.
I watched the entire video. I was like, oh my gosh, did we?
So their rate, which they say increase, they don't say what it increased from in the letter, but that was the rate we used for our budget.
That's correct. Yep. So I'd like, if the select board has direction for how to finish the draft to bring to you in the next month and a half, that would be great. And again, the question is, do you want to include all the stuff about the covered bridges and the fines and the weight limit or not?
I thought they were excellent.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, I think we should,
I mean, I'm glad we went through this because the process of understanding the state of the bridges and what they can take led to these discoveries.
Yeah.
You know, but now it's a secondary consideration to have our bridges and ordinances accurately reflect what's happening or what has been happening for previous years. That is now secondary to safety issues and enforcement issues.
That's good. I'm happy to do that. And thank you. One last thing, we just received, we applied for, with all the senators and balance office, for discretionary spending. We put in applications, $3.5 million. I received multiple emails and questions, which I've responded to. Received an email from Welch's office Thursday night with 2 questions, and then Friday morning received a letter. And you may recall, I reached out to the USDA about 6 weeks ago clarifying, because there was questions about how long the term of the loan was. And I said, we need to know for sure, is this 40? They responded, yes, this is a 40-year loan. They wrote Friday morning and said, oops, we were wrong, it's a 30-year loan. And they returned the signed contract from all parties with 2 X's through the 40 and a 30 above it, which is a game changer. I have notified Welch's and Sanders' office of that change and what it could mean for our CDS applications. I just wanted to note it because it may be an opportunity, but it was a big discovery on Friday.
Thank you.
yeah, the good news is we still have funding available either from USDA or from the State of Vermont Clean Water State Revolving Fund. So it's not like, oh my God, we lost our funding. It's just the terms changed that makes the USDA rural development funding more expensive relative to the state funding. So the state was pushing us, you may want to consider skipping the USDA funding because we think ours is better. And we said, oh, no, they're offering 40 years. If it's 30 years, they're right. Like the state funding is cheaper. So,
And it's important because the application's due by July 1st for the CWSRF funding. So that I'm assuming that it's going to be recommended that we apply for the full amount from the CWSRF, from the state of Vermont. So it will be in front of the board pretty soon, early June, end of May probably. But we're not at the point where we can apply yet. But the sooner we get the application in, the better.
I saw the email when I was away from Welch's office, and it seems like you answered all the questions.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they seem on top of it.
I think so, yeah. And we've had communication with Balance Office too. Everyone, I mean, they were very supportive of this project 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a little hard because now we're at the point where we're so close to being ready. We might need to make a separate contract for $3.5 million. That's gonna have to go out for bid later. It's very confusing, but this is what happens when CDS wasn't available a year ago. But we are working on adjusting the project to work.
Oh my.
it's a little maddening that we've been applying for 3 years and it was, oh, you're not shovel ready. And now we're like shovel ready and they're saying, oh, now you're too late.
That is exactly, it's basically what
Pull
happened.
that shovel out of the ground.
But I think that
Can
was
you
a-
slow down? Give us time to
Shovel slowly.
I thought that was
Shovel
important.
slowly.
This is a big development.
Good.
And that's it.
Can I ask to go back to the
Traffic ordinance.
thinking about
God, what's it called?
Traffic warning.
Yes, traffic ordinance, thank you.
too.
There's
I'm gonna
one
go-
line in the
I'm
yellow
gonna go, I have a VLCT board
material
meeting.
around the bridge specifically that says enforcement discretion may be applied by law enforcement officers in cases where minor overages do not pose a risk of structural damage.
Yeah.
I would suggest we strike that.
Yeah.
We don't want
Yeah, and I
ambiguity.
think we had.
I thought we had talked about that.
And I think it was in 2 spots maybe.
Oh, okay.
But yes, that
So that's
is
on
Article
page
3.
5 of the ordinance.
It's on
Article-
page 63 of the meeting packet.
Yeah, Article
Back
7.
in the day, I didn't want that in there either. I just wanted to know what the real weight limit was. And now we know.
Yeah, because a lot of people are asking like, what about my Toyota Tacoma? That's a truck, but honestly, it's less than 6,000 pounds or 3 tons, other trucks are more, it's like, I think the less ambiguity, it's just like, it's 3 tons. It's your responsibility to know your weight.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I missed that. I think I changed it in another spot. It must have been written twice.
Yeah, I can.
Maybe something
I
like
can also
the
maybe
animal
come up with
ordinance,
a-
in 2 different places.
With a curb, empty curb weight list that we could post at some point, just so you know.
Also, Article 8, Section 2, Pine Brook Covered Bridge.
Mhm.
That's a 10-ton.
Yeah, thank you. I think at one point,
Didn't they tell us it was 3 tons now?
no, the Pine Brook is, I thought it was 6. And I think Josh or Charlie at some point had said that to me, and so I'm like, it's 6.
Didn't the state say at one point, like, all covered bridges are 3 or something like
If
that?
there's no metal under them.
Okay.
But Pine Brook has I-beams. So Pine Brook is 10 tons? That's amazing.
20,000 pounds.
Yeah, would you like to see a picture?
No, you showed it to me. I saw it. I'm sure there'll be other mistakes that will.
I think I'm up
So
to
we need to
like
change that.
5 times now, driving down to the bridge in my truck. Oh, shit. Turning around, going up.
Do you turn around?
I do, I do.
Go back to
I- like,
Trombley?
I don't want to be on camera.
Well, that one's not
Call
being
that.
recorded yet.
Yeah, Rolston and Tremblay are perfectly good routes.
So that's us it, select board roundtable. Marissa? How's everything going?
Okay.
Fading.
You're home.
Good.
I mean,
What's that?
home. You're home in Rhode Island.
No, I mean, that's not really home, but yes, I'm in Rhode Island. Yeah, we're working on transitioning Felicity's care to Vermont, but that's a little bit tricky because she's having some problems gaining weight, and some possible allergies. So yeah, anyways, we're here for a bit while we get that sorted out.
But
But
she's getting good care there, though.
She is, absolutely, which is not to say that she couldn't get good care in Vermont, it's
Yeah.
just, we didn't wanna move her in the middle of a crisis, so. So yes. That is what we're up to, and, hoping to be back in Vermont soon, but probably not for much of this month, unfortunately.
Josh,
Oh, good.
Fred?
Maybe it's the time of year or something, but I'm getting calls about dogs running at large.
Have we had any bites to our advertisements for any of the open positions?
Good Planning Commission, there was one bite, but that is the only one. And we've paid for advertising multiple times, and they
Yeah.
don't.
It doesn't seem to do the trick.
And that's coming from Waitsfield, who is such like.
Sorry, I haven't been paying attention, but have the open positions been on Front Porch Forum?
Did I post them once? I feel like I copied them on Front Porch Forum once.
I don't,
But even if I did, it's
That's
probably time
business,
to do
yeah.
again.
Yeah, that's good.
I was Jen's, because people pay attention to Jen's more than mine.
And does the town have a Facebook page as well?
Say that again, Larissa, sorry.
The town has a Facebook page as well, right?
Yeah, and I
It
can
does
do that. Yeah, Jen and I both do the Facebook page.
and based on the conversation with tenants at Vermont, I may be getting some more
Yeah.
Yeah.
complaints.
I guess just 2 things I just wanted to note. There's been some community questions around Act 181 and the renewal. There's a lot going on in the legislature right now about potentially delaying the non-mapping parts of that bill. And so that is kind of a hot topic right now.
It's just a very concerted effort to make it a hot topic.
Yeah.
Very, very organized from a certain faction
Yeah.
of the population.
But so I just wanted to share that.
Well, I've gotten some inquiries too.
Yep, and that at some point, MRBPD shared with me that what does LRB stand for?
Land use review board.
Land Use Review Board is planning to come to a presentation in the valley at some point. That will be scheduled in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And obviously, what is presented may change based on what happens in Montpelier.
Almost certain the dates for implementation dates will be extended.
That's what it looks like. And then there's also ongoing debate about the pilot fund surplus.
Yes.
And what will, what should and will be done with that. Both going forward, the reimbursement rate to towns is a lobbying effort by the LCT and local option tax towns. And then returning some of the existing surplus as in the form of town highway aid to all towns is a legislative priority for them because there's no, or doesn't look like currently a politically viable way to get that money back to towns, and the state keeps taking it for non-municipal uses.
As long as we still have the 75%,
I think
there are equity issues, you
Yeah.
know. Some towns are gonna get a lot of money and some towns you never can see a dime of it.
Yeah,
So,
so that's also changing based on what happens in the Senate.
Yeah.
Once it gets finalized, I'll try and give an update on it.
so part of that, a couple of us did get a request from League of Cities and Towns about an interest. They're having their legislative day,
Mhm.
and there's going to be a joint hearing of the House and Senate Transportation Committee on local needs. And I talked to York about maybe he and I might want to tag team for that. He's going to be away. I have a VLCT board meeting on Thursday. I may still offer to do it. I'd like to tell the story of the Meadow Road Bridge, among other things.
Yep.
I'm not positive yet, but
Thanks for thinking about it. I'm out of town, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would consider going, but
What's the date again?
next Thursday.
23rd.
I'm away too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I would have, liked to have done that.
But I might ask you some questions tomorrow or Wednesday.
I'm sure I'll be working a little bit.
Okay. And you're leaving Thursday.
Thursday morning, driving to New York City.
Why are you doing that?
Because flying out of JFK is a lot cheaper than anywhere else.
Really? From Boston? Cheaper than Boston?
Our flights were quite affordable.
Okay.
So we're flying to Milan, spending time in Florence where my daughter is, and then train to Switzerland, and then flying from Zurich straight to JFK, back to JFK.
Nice.
Sounds like fun.
That'd be great. Very much looking forward to it. Yeah, the staff, I will note that JB will also be out of town all next week, and I think Steve will be out of town 2 or 3 days. So if anyone can visit and hang out with Jennifer a little bit, she'd appreciate it.
So one thing I talked to York about today, I want to talk to Steve and Sandy about getting a quarterly report at our next meeting, financial report. Because I think if we're going to have it would be good to know where we stand. Unassigned balance, our funds, if we're going to have some big expenses with the covered bridge, maybe ahead of next year. We do have a good reserve fund and a bridge fund. Sandy seemed to indicate that we're pretty solid again this year financially, which may mean that we have our unassigned balance is bigger than we had anticipated. Be good to know that before we make some decisions.
Yeah, Sandy started the work last week, and she made it sound like it was a good, and that probably does mean quite good.
I said if Sandy says it's good, it's really good.
And let's hope it's really good, because that would be great. We have a lot going on.
Yeah.
And some of the other things we are looking into striping.
Yeah, I'm meeting with Rebecca, the town administrator, Warren, soon about striping and collaborating on dispatch for Mervis and the fire departments. And I will note, I guess, as I mentioned FEMA, they're recommending 2 box culverts for Old Center Face and Center Face and roads. But the town does have to provide a 25% match, which would be significant for 2 box culverts. So they're also gonna provide a second, like, not as great, but a second, projects that could work. I did talk to Josh about it again today, Rogers, and he felt very strongly that box culverts are the obvious, but we'll talk about that later.
I question putting that kind of money into a class 4 road that serves one house and
That's-
isn't likely gonna serve anymore.
And that's the conversation I had with Josh, and he's like, yeah, but, I mean, box culverts last like 100 years with no upkeep, and that was Josh's point.
Yeah.
But there's 4 houses up there and 3 are not year-round homes.
So should, we do have 2 very brief executive session updates. One, we're waiting on more information from our attorney on one. And is there another one?
No.
There isn't another one.
Not, is that?
I only see the one on the agenda.
Do you want to just skip it and say that it's gonna be on the agenda next meeting because we've been in touch with town attorney on some of the legal issues that we have been discussing?
I'm fine with that.
Is that,
Well, that's up to Fred.
let's go into executive
Yeah, let's
session.
do it.
Yeah, let's go in for legal issues.
I move to make a finding pursuant to 1 VSA 313A 1E that we have a matter to discuss that may result in civil litigation involving the town and that premature public disclosure would place the town at a substantial disadvantage.
Second. Right. Discussion, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
And I move to enter executive session pursuant to 1 VSA 313A 1E.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
It's 9:03. Pausing.
A little early,
Recording stopped.
John.
A little early.